From the WinBet studio, win with WinBet. WGFX Gallatin, Nashville.
A Cumulus media station.
The Titans and the Bills. Kickoff is Monday night at 7:15 on your home for Titans football. Trending now at 104.5 The Zone.
It is 6 o'clock. Good morning. I'm Jonathan Schaefer. The Nashville Predators will be painting the town tonight. They open the regular season this evening at Bridgestone Arena by taking on the league's newest team, the Seattle Kraken. Puck drop set for 7 o'clock. The Preds have signed defenseman Matthias Ekholm to a 4-year, $25 million extension, which keeps him under contract through the 2025-26 season. The average annual value is $6.25 million. Titans officially signed linebacker Avery Williamson to the active roster. He previously played for the Titans from 2014 to 2017. Meanwhile, safety Amani Hooker has returned to practice but remains on IR. Talking about practice, wide receiver Julio Jones returned to practice yesterday. He's not played the past 2 games because of a hamstring injury. Also, edge rusher Bud Dupree returned to practice. He missed the last 3 games with the knee injury. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Do I have everybody's attention now?
Now it's time for Jason Martin and Ball for Life Ramon Foster.
Powered by all 4 Seasons Garage Doors.
Together, they are JMart and Ramon on 104.5 The Zone.
What's happening? Welcome in on this Thursday. Getting set for a game weekend. A lot of good games this weekend. Titans won't play until Monday. Today is going to be Scout Meeting Thursday because Monday Night Football. Glad to have you with us. We are powered by all 4 Seasons Garage Doors in Nashville. All4seasonsgarages.com/Nashville is where I want you to go to learn more. And we're here, all of us. 11-year NFL veteran and Ball for Life, Ramon Foster. You can hit him at Ramon Foster. Jonathan Schaefer at Schaefer on Sports. I'm Jason Martin at JMart Radio, at JMart and Ramon. We're headed to Knoxville this weekend as a show. We'll be broadcasting from Calhoun's on the river. Hopefully the rain isn't going to be too bad during the game because I went to checkerkneeling.com last night to make sure that I knew which shade of crimson to wear on Saturday.
You'll be asking which divorce papers you gonna take
Abby
home
immediately
too.
was like, "You will." She said this to me. I told you this yesterday. She said this 2 days ago. I was just kidding with her. I would obviously not do that. But she said, "You will not be the red dot in that crowd."
What did I tell you yesterday immediately when you said it? It's like, oh, you gonna be the red dot, huh?
Nope. Can't win with them.
Can't win with
Cannot
them.
win with them.
Can't take you home after the game.
Oh. And the Kraken are in town.
They are.
Which brings us back again, and I got this topic that we'll get to a little bit later on surrounding this.
Man,
we got camera issues
be messing with
for
the
a radio
cameras and
show.
stuff,
That is
man.
not what God intended, folks.
No.
So here's the thing. Kraken are here. Merch is ordered.
Yeah.
It's a wrap now. Like, I mean, it's done. I did get a Tanev jersey though.
Yeah.
So I'm still representing my team. But the question that I'm going to ask for fun, I'll go ahead and ask it.
Go ahead.
Is what team do you kind of root for when your real team isn't involved? And no, this doesn't make you a weaker fan, but who do you just kind of like, I don't really hate them. Maybe they play in a different conference. And I'm not talking the NHL. I'm talking about whatever your team might be. Like, if your guys aren't involved, there are definitely teams you can't stand. Like, Titans fans are not rooting for Baltimore and Indianapolis.
Heck no.
But there might be, like, somebody that you watch and enjoy. Like, I'm a Braves fan, but I always enjoy when the Rays win. For some reason, I've always kind of liked the Rays. Doesn't mean I'm going to pull for them over Atlanta. Just means that in the AL, I'm kind of watching them and hoping they do well every year. That would be the question. And that comes on the heels of Preds Kraken tonight.
Yeah.
I'm a Penguins fan, as is the rest of this room. And we also, of course, want to see the local team do well.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm adopting the Kraken because I like the nickname, and I like the logo, and I like all that. So, like, when I can, I'm going to hope that they do well.
Yeah, that's gonna be that fan base is gonna gain a whole lot of new followers too. I saw people yesterday tweeting about the same thing that you said.
We're all torn, Mo.
Man, this Kraken is looks cool, and you got a feeling that as much momentum they got on the PR side, at least, that the team might be good too. Maybe not, but there's a lot going on around them. I've seen more NHL stuff this week and last week. Then I know it's a season opener and everything.
No.
Why?
ESPN.
Is that why?
This is what makes the difference. This is why I'm really curious to see where I'm really excited about the NHL more so than I have been the last two starts of regular seasons.
Yeah.
And the reason why I've got NHL 22 pre-ordered. Comes out tomorrow. I think it is because it does matter when ESPN cares. And now that they have games again, they have the point in the afternoons now, which is the jump for hockey.
Yeah.
With John Buccigross and all this. When ESPN did hockey before, I never cared more. Of course, at that point in time, I was actually trying to play.
Yeah.
And I was watching, because of where I lived, I got all the Capitals games, so I would watch the Capitals games. But it does matter. When ESPN cares, that means they're going to devote time on SportsCenter. They're going to have analysts all over the place.
Yeah.
They're going to care because they have a financial reason to care. So it's going to be in your face more. Doesn't mean you're just going to all of a sudden become a hockey fan. It does mean that ESPN, Gary Bettman called him out. I saw this. Like, Gary Bettman was like, man, if ESPN's going to be as good a partner to us as well as if they're going to be as good at partnering with us as they were at ignoring us since they lost our license, then we're going to do really well. Like, he called him out. He was like, now that y'all care, you know exactly how to pretty much throw us underneath the dirt now.
Hey, I know that's lawless right there, man. I mean, but hey, business is business, right? Mm-hmm. Why would I support you if I got nothing to do with you?
So, I mean, like, once they got the NBA, you started to see a whole lot more NBA coverage on ESPN when they finally got it back, when NBC wasn't running the NBA anymore. It's going to be the same thing. It does mean that you're going to think hockey is bigger than maybe it actually is because it's everywhere. It's on TNT and ESPN instead of NBC Sports Network buried in the middle of nowhere. That stuff is relevant, folks. I promise you.
It is. And last night I'm watching Gretzky and Charles last night. And I ain't going to lie to you. Charles Barkley got a way of bridging gaps, man, for as many people he threw through windows in his prime. You know what I'm saying? As many
I'm an unapologetic, unabashed Charles Barkley lover.
Like, it don't matter.
He's one of my all-time. He was growing up. Him and Bird were probably my favorite players.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I wanted to see him win in '95 when he went to Phoenix. I wanted to see him win that championship. I've always liked him, and I think that TNT show, he's helped make Kenny a bigger star.
Yeah.
But that show's been perfect. So anytime I get a chance to see Barkley, I even liked him on the Manning cast, and I knew he wasn't going to say anything relevant. But it's like, all right, for 5 minutes at least he'll make you laugh, and then you can move on with your day.
But it was cool though because he did the puck shot against Chuck while he was in front of the net.
I didn't get to see anything last night.
By the way, Gretzky is cool as ever. It seems like in real life. Okay,
HBO made the mistake, messed up, sent me all of Succession season 3.
Yeah,
so I was out last night on the sports world.
Okay, well, Gretzky is cool in real life. It seems like, and he's just sitting back, a real chill dude. And next thing you know, they got Charles in front of a net. And it's one of those things we as fans, even me, man, I could do that. I probably can't skate, but I can definitely make a goal or two. I can stop a goal. You know what I'm saying? Like Charles is what?
Too slow.
6'8". See, I like Shay. What is Charles is like 6'8"?
I can't even see him.
Who?
And he hit that drop.
I know.
It's like he used a go-go gadget arm to get to the. Yeah, I see it. Yeah.
Money.
Marionette behind the glass over here.
But Charles in front of the net, man, and Gretzky, as old as he is, he took what I think like 4 or 5 shots against Charles. Nowhere near close to stopping the puck every time. And it was just so subtle, just foul to a spot, right corner. Foul in between his legs. Boom, left corner. I'm like, I know that, we speak about baseball like hitters and stuff like that, pitchers that got to designate the ball where it's going to designate the bat where you want the ball to go. But like watching hockey, like hit like Coach Mack in the corner right there in the right hand. Like, they're that accurate. You know what I'm saying? And it was kind of cool to watch him do that last night on TV. And Charles, as a supreme athlete as he was in his time, is looking like, how the heck did you pull this off? So it was real cool, man, to kind of see the skill set of what it actually takes to be a Hall of Fame hockey player, man. It was subtle, but you knew it was real lethal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. We'll see, TNT spent all this money on this state-of-the-art set for what they're doing. Like, there's money being put into the league right now. And it's just better for sports if you can make this thing relevant again. Like, if you can make it, because it can be a ton of fun. It's the most fun some of the most fun you can have in this city is going to Bridgestone to watch.
There's no lie about that.
There's no doubt about it. We are lucky to live in a market where it is fun and where when it's a show, it's a real party. So I'm hoping the Preds are good this year, even though I think they're 300-1 to win the Stanley Cup right now.
Straight up.
Yeah, it's not gonna be. It's gonna be a rebuild. Let's just say that. But they did pay Ekholm yesterday, and Ekholm wanted to end his career here. It looks like he might get his opportunity.
Get his shot.
Hopefully, this doesn't turn into the Ryan Ellis contract 2.0.
Uh-oh.
It is Scout Meeting Thursday, of course. You know what I'm saying, Shay.
Come on.
You see big money going to sort of aged Predators. You start to wonder a little bit. I saw that Steelers tweet where it's like every 1,000 likes.
You see that, man?
Brett Kiesel's beard gets bigger. Playoff beard, man. But one of my closest friends, you would know him well if I named him right now. He used to work in this building. He was in my wedding.
Yeah.
He sent me a message last night. He's as diehard a Preds fan as you will find.
For real.
His wife is an even bigger Preds fan. You know what I'm talking about, Shay. You saw him at All Out.
Got a dog named after one of the players.
Dog's
Former
named after
players.
Arvidsson.
Marcus.
His name is Arvy.
Oh.
And he sent me a message last night, Shafe. That message read as follows. Well,
Boy, that worked well on cue.
Ready?
Uh-oh.
Look at this radio pro.
Yeah. I felt bad because I kind of gacked up the headlines, and he can't even read his email
I
on
can't
cue.
get to my email.
Oh,
Ben and Jerry's trying to dodge.
man.
Ben and Jerry trying to dodge that question about Florida. It says, I was hoping Arvidsson was traded to Seattle so I could have an excuse to get Kraken gear.
Ooh.
You know whom? You know what that made me feel?
A whole lot.
Justified.
Seen. Better.
What is wrong with
Made
you,
me feel
dog?
so much better, man. I'm gonna order a hat today too.
Maybe we'll get Auntie Kayla to come on and just talk about the Kraken.
I know she'll be.
She's excited too.
She is excited. Yep.
She's super excited.
So, Scout Meeting Wednesday. I got a couple of stats sent to us through. You get a lot from the NFL every week now because of all the advanced analytics and stats that they have and history and records. I'm going to tell you some things about the Bills when we come back as we start to break down their offense on Scout Meeting Thursday. I'm going to let Moan run through everything, and we'll talk about it. Then I'm going to drop these stats on you. Oh, boy. This Bills team's pretty good.
Yeah.
This Bills team is all right.
I got to talk about something, too, when it comes down to this, because it took me back for a second. Thursdays were the meetings that coaches really, dove into, well, they got this, and this. And, man, I got to just talk about that for a second. We can discuss that because I'm sure you've dealt with this, too.
I may have. Right now, I'm clueless, but I'm excited. I'm interested.
You'll be excited.
It's a great radio tease. 615-737-1045. 737-1045. Steve Palazzolo.
Hey.
Coach Mack.
Hey.
Josh Ward.
Yes.
All of them.
Big
Straight
day
ahead
tomorrow, too.
on a Thursday. JMart and Ramon, 1045 The Zone.
Barbecue sauce.
Buck Rising is at every Titans game and gives it to you straight each and every week.
This is an onion. We're going to peel it back layer by layer, piece by piece.
The Buck Rising Show. Today from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on 104.5 The Zone.
Hey, it's JMart. When you hear Genesis Diamonds, you think extreme value, you think amazing prices, you think no middleman markups, you think bigger and better, you think for less, too. All that's true. But more true, certainly as true, and very important is the Genesis experience. We're talking second to none, totally professional, laid-back luxury, relaxed, informative, dealing with non-commissioned experts, not clerks, which means they care about you a little bit more. They're not in there just trying to get more money out of you, whether or not it's good for you or not. You're offered a refreshment the minute you walk in, and from there, it just gets better. High quality, no compromises, exquisite hand-picked diamonds that are a cut above what you find at other stores, and you don't have to call them 4 days ahead, and they're like, hey, Let me contact Jimmy down the street. He's going to get these diamonds he's going to get them in. You can get you 3 or 4 cushion cuts if you want them. Let's set up an appointment for next week. No, you can walk in today and get the first pick of the best diamonds from cutters all over the world. The ones they reject are the ones you're going to see in the mega chain stores and online. And at Genesis, you get that designer ring she wants, the designers you won't find at other places. We're talking to Corey. We're talking Viraggio. We're talking Henry Dawsey, like the ring that's on my wife's finger. They have been selected by the world's top bridal designers to be an authorized retailer. Over 4,000 rings to choose from. Handcrafted, quality rings in every style imaginable. At Genesis, it does start with the best value price, but that's just the beginning. The quality and the experience, that's why you'll come back. I promise you. I'll never go anywhere else. They're truly on a whole different level. Once you've seen the best, I don't know why you need to see the rest. Genesis Diamonds, the only place voted year after year as the best place to buy an engagement ring in Nashville. It's in Green Hills and Cool Springs.
For the ones who know safety isn't a catchphrase, it's a culture. And the ones who help make sure everyone makes it home safe. For the safety-minded who watch everyone's backs, Grainger offers supplies and solutions
You say that's all that
Every
matters.
time I
baby.
think about it, I think about another piece of merch that I can get because of his statement. His statement makes me it validates me completely.
Yeah.
Got a hat to pre-order.
Yeah.
Then I got a shirt to pre-order. And then I've got a pullover. J Boogie with the hoodie.
Yeah.
He's a cracking hoodie.
He's a cracking hoodie.
The telephone number is 615-737-1045. So, scout meeting Thursday.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Look,
Go ahead.
you can beat them.
Go ahead.
You can beat them, but you're going to pack a lunch and you're going to play well if you're going to beat them. Because they are, oh boy, they're really good.
And so let me walk you down what I was talking about, Jay, when it comes down to this week. Meetings, scouting a team, getting your notes on a team. I actually saw some stuff yesterday in my garage. I was cleaning out a bunch of stuff yesterday, man.
So was I.
Did you were cleaning out
We
your
had,
garage?
we had the tie-dye party. So we had to clean up all of that.
yeah.
And then I took it upon myself to then just start rooting through everything I could find,
Yeah.
getting all the boxes out. And you realize you save a bunch of empty boxes from stuff you bought because you're like, I might need to return this. If I need to move, then I've got the box for it. Then you realize, I don't have space for this.
5 years later.
Still got a box. We had a box. We ended up donating a bunch of stuff a few days ago. One of them was a coffee maker. Found the box for the coffee maker. Don't think we need that anymore. Let's create some space. So I don't know why yesterday was garage day, but yesterday was garage day apparently around the JMart and Ramon places. Except for Shafe, who probably did nothing.
Don't have a garage.
You don't have a garage?
No.
So just because he's never invited
Are
us to his
you
house.
judging me?
No.
That was very Williamson County of him, wasn't it?
Felt a little judgy. You don't have a garage?
I'm not in Williamson
What
County.
the hell's wrong with you?
Your city got a B by it. Starts with a B, ends with a D. Brentwood.
Keep talking, Mo. You're going to walk over here.
Yeah, but it's not real Brentwood.
Yeah, man, it's
Come
not.
on.
It's
I mean, it's
Davidson
nice.
County, Nippers
It's
Corner.
nice. I mean, it's Nippers Corner, like,
Jeremy McNichol.
Look,
Look,
hey.
Shafe, you were there.
yeah,
We are blessed to have what we have.
it's lovely. It's
Nice,
a lovely neighborhood.
pleasant, quiet neighborhood.
It's nice.
But it's not the Brentwood you see on
no,
HBO Max
No.
documentaries.
no.
Boy, y'all just gonna downplay this one, huh?
No, wait a
That's cool.
minute.
Moan, you
Wait,
got to
no.
come visit. We've
No.
invited you to visit. We have
No.
just enough room to get you in there.
I'm gonna bring one of my cars and park at your house. Jay, you mind if I store a car at your house?
We have a one-car
I mean,
garage.
he
My
doesn't-
car's
I was
outside the
gonna say,
garage.
he doesn't have enough room to do that.
All right.
I was going to have a garage with the house, but that's when the economy tanked back then, and then I just never got around.
All right, so what's cracking with the Bills, Moan?
Heard you.
Kraken.
So this is the thing about scout meeting, hearing the stuff that we're going to say. It's been this way for over a year. We can say that now. It's been this way for over a year. We've been consistent with this. And as a player, man, and I'm sure, Jay, and I mentioned this earlier, I'm sure you have felt this way about something. And Shafe, too, when it comes down, I'm like, man, screw these dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the mentality you'll have when you hear about, like, how good somebody is. I used to hate it.
Not impressed?
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm not impressed. That lady is good.
I had not seen that before yesterday.
Me either.
Never want to eat a fry again.
I'm gonna put that up there.
Yeah, you need to put. We need to put that GIF up.
I
there.
got to put that up there on social media. So we used to sit in those meetings like we're about to have right now on the show and be like, "Yo, I'm tired of hearing about them." And all it does, like, if you're right-minded and you got to have this chip on your shoulder to be like, "Man, screw them. I ain't dealing with this. You're not a better player. You're not a better team than I am." And that's what these meetings kind of turn into from a coaching side, because what do coaches do? And I got to give it to Coach Tomlin on this. And I think Vrabel might be this way too. It's just you're running in circles, whether it's high school, college, on the pros. Like, coaches are there for the most part to get a prod, a stick, and just twist. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what they do. And I feel like when we were in those meetings and coaches would be reading off how good this team is, and we're going to talk about how good this Buffalo Bills team is, you're going to feel like, man, we can't beat them. But if you're right-minded, you walk into that thing like, hey, we got to be right this week. It was
Look, this is the kind of team this organization has beaten for years.
Yeah.
They can lose to the Jets, but they can beat the Bills.
You know what I'm saying? And it was sometimes, man, Coach T is even saying, hey, we gotta damn near play a perfect game, man. And just leave it like this. Like, I'm not playing no perfect game. We just gonna whoop they you-know-whats. But this week right here, you might have to play a perfect game.
So speaking of perfect game, real quick, before you get to the offense, this just reminded me, I was further into Wickersham's book yesterday.
Yeah.
Reading about Belichick. He has 2 signs, like in the office area leading to the locker room.
Yeah.
One of them is Sun Tzu from The Art of War,
Yeah.
because he's a big-time military historian and Navy and all this other stuff. The other one is just a quote from him.
Mm-hmm.
It says, penalties lose games.
Wow.
That's it. Like, you're
Yeah.
walking in, it says, penalties lose games, meaning don't be a bonehead,
Yeah.
and we have a chance to win this thing.
Be basically a smart football player. Be a smart player. I hated dumb plays, dumb penalties, Jay. You want to talk about it. You want to irk me in the most just, why did you do that? You saw he was running out of bounds. Why did you hit him, you idiot?
The unnecessary
Now it's +15.
stupid is so much worse
Oh, my
than the
God.
stupid where you say, I understand why you did that.
Be a smart
Right.
football player, man.
Right.
Okay, with that being said, about this Buffalo Bills team, yes, they are good. Yes, they have been beaten. Also, that team that beat them got, just 2 wins on the season now? The Steelers?
Pittsburgh, yeah.
So, they got boat raced in the first game. Just truth being told, TJ had a hell of a game. Cam Hayward had a heck of a game that
And week
weekend.
1 is always a weird week.
It's a weird week when you really break it down. So, with that being said, the Bills opened up this week 4.5-point favorites. Now they're 5.5 on the road here in Nashville. Again, just to run it down, head coach Sean McDermott has been solid.
Defensive mind, defensive coordinator in Carolina when they were
Humping.
rolling.
Yes, it seems to be a even keel, let coaches do their thing, okay with players doing their thing type of coach. Hadn't heard any disgruntled situations going on there, and they've had some bad times because at one point they were 9-7, 6-10. Then there comes Josh Allen. Okay, so with that being said, Brian Daboll is their OC. We talked about him earlier offseason when speaking about head coaching positions. Like, man, it might be better for them to just kind of run it back. And that's what they did, because I think they did protect him this past offseason from doing interviews.
Well, I do think he's out after this year. I don't think they can hold him any longer.
No.
There's going to be too many teams that are going to clamor for him. We thought last year was going to be him and Arthur.
Sure was.
It ended up being Arthur and not him this time.
Mm-hmm.
But they could win a Super Bowl this year, and then he can go.
Then he's off. Kind of like a Shanahan type of thing, which they didn't win it, but yeah. Again, Brian Daboll's the OC. Very hot name. Going to be hot this year considering what they're doing. This game is the AFC East Division leader versus the AFC South Division leader. So, again, these are 2 playoff teams as the season stands right now. Also is this, and as a player, I say there's nothing more that I wanted. Titans is their last game before the bye week. It could mean 2 things. Maybe they're looking too forward to the bye week, or maybe they're saying, hey, I'm not trying to have 2 weeks of an L on my list. So there's a lot going into the mindset of this team. I'm sure Coach McDermott is telling them, finish this week strong, then you can rest. Finish this week strong, then you can rest. You know that's got to be a part of what they got going on right now. Number 1 in points in the NFL offensively, 5th in rushing with 702 yards. Said this yesterday, the average starting spot for this team is the 35-yard line. To compare, the Titans usually started around the 26. Their offense is scoring 49.3% on third. I mean, they're converting 49.3% on third down. Titans defense, though, has been really good on third down, to say the least. 24 trips to the red zone, 14 touchdowns. That's a 58.3% scoring rate. That's huge right there, okay? This team led by Josh Allen. He's throwing 62.3% on passing right now, 1,370 yards on the year, 12 touchdowns, 2 picks.
2 picks. That's really impressive because his accuracy was his problem. Last year, he got it under control.
Yeah.
And this year, he's just picked up exactly where he left off.
Mm-hmm. I was looking at the pregame special on him last weekend, and he was speaking about how he tries to stay calm now. Mm-hmm. His playlist is real, like, chill. I think it's like the Rat Pack and stuff like that to keep him calm. He's like, that's how he doesn't get too high. So if you rattle him, possibly, you're going to have a bad Josh Allen. But Kansas City tried that also. I think he's just grown right now as a player, man. He's also got 188 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. And running, they also got 3 fumbles. I don't think they've lost any also. The fumbles may have come in the Pittsburgh games where it was sack fumbles. Favorite right now as the league MVP is Josh Allen. Devin Singletary leads the team in rushing, but Josh Allen, again, is second behind him. You don't know what you're going to get with their running game. They have a 3-headed monster at first is what I said, but they really have a 4-headed monster. You got Stephon Diggs, Emmanuel Sanders, Dawson Knox, and also Cole Beasley right now. Dawson Knox, Rhett brought this up yesterday, 5 touchdowns on the season for a tight end. On his way to a, let's say, I'm not going to say Kelsey role or Kittle role, but he's efficient.
Like I said, he's a Tunyon right now.
A Tunyon. One of those solid tight ends that's been around for a little bit.
The guy that you now have to pay serious attention to out there.
Yes,
the other guy that's eating that you just mentioned. We know what Diggs is going to do.
100%.
But Sanders, who looked like he was kind of close to being out of the league, right now has become a major weapon for them, and he's getting loose down the field and catching big-time chunk plays from Josh Allen.
One thing, because you saw him in Denver when he really took off after leaving Pittsburgh, E. Sanders is an assassin route runner.
I saw him in Denver, obviously, for a long time.
Assassin route runner. You need to have some experience on a guy like this. Now, I'm not saying he's unguardable, but what I'm saying is if you're paying attention to Dawson Knox and Stephon Diggs and Beasley, E is going to march down the field with about 100 yards rushing, maybe 90 yards receiving, my bad, and have a real good game, man. Second-year man also. Zach Moss is having a solid season. He's second on the team with touchdowns. He's got 3 rushing touchdowns and a receiving touchdown. And again, Cole is solid as can be. Their O-line was built mostly in-house, man. They got a solid guy. Mitch Morse, like him a whole lot. Deion Dawkins is a young, solid guy. Watching this week right here, I think it's Spencer Brown is the young second-year guy. No, the young second rounder that's starting at right tackle right now. If Dylan Radins play, and if he plays this week also, it's going to be interesting to see how those 2 dudes perform. I'll say this too. Week 1, John Feliciano, the left guard, had a rough day at the office. He's been fine since, but having the fact that I kind of compare Big Jeff to Cam Hayward, Jeff got to have a Cam Hayward type of night is what I'm saying. If you can disrupt them up the middle, it seemed to be the recipe because nobody's done it since, and maybe they've corrected it. But that's the guy you want to go at. And Feliciano's nice, but he just had a bad weekend against the Steelers with Cam Hayward over him. So that's really my breakdown, man. It's a solid team. Again, if you right-minded, you go into this thing saying, man, screw them. It's our house. It's Monday Night Football. The people that said I wouldn't make it, watch me perform on Monday night. That's got to be the mentality for you, for the Titans defense, man. I tricked myself into crazy stuff like that, Jay.
Well, I mean, whatever tricks you got to play on yourself in order to motivate or get you up a little bit higher than you thought you could get for a game like this, that's how you get it done. It really is. So I'm not going to give you those stats right now. I'm going to give you the stats the NFL sent out to everybody in media yesterday when we come back out of this break, just to show you how historically good the Bills offense and the Bills have been to open this season and the kind of history and the kind of rarefied air they find themselves in. Doesn't mean that you're not going to stop them dead in their tracks on Monday, but you need to know what you're walking up against.
Facts.
Like if you don't respect them, they will beat the brakes off of you. There's no question about that. And look, if the Bills don't respect the Titans, they'll get beat too.
Yeah.
That's how this league works. I don't think the Bills are going to not take them seriously, but we'll come back and we'll give you some more stats. 615-737-1045. We did tweet this out. Question of the day. What team do you kind of just from a distance cheer for when your real team's not involved? Just kind of quietly hope that they do well, unless, of course, they're playing your team. 615-737-1045 on that. We'll come back. We'll give you more stats on this on Scout Meeting Thursday because of Monday Night Football. JMart and Ramon, 1045 The Zone.
The weekend starts with Thursday Night Football when the Eagles host the Super Bowl champion Bucs. Coverage starts tonight at 7 on your home for Thursday Night Football. 104.5 The Zone.
Hey, it's JMart. That check oil light, when you see that check oil light, for me, for a long time, I would just wait too long. I mean, I had my car ran out of gas 3 or 4 different times in my teens and in my 20s because I would just, it's not like I was trying to do something stupid. I just thought I can go a few more miles. I want to see if I can find a couple cents cheaper here and there. It didn't always work. You got to worry about maintenance in your life. For me now, with my workouts, with trying to eat right, with the early mornings and trying to get to sleep, it's just drinking enough water so that I'm hydrated throughout the day. Maintenance, routine maintenance is important. So why should it be any different with your mental health? It shouldn't be. With my friends at BetterHelp, personal therapy's never been safer. For me, my watch prompts me on. It's my quiet times. It's time in scripture. It's those kinds of things. Without that, I couldn't function. I couldn't come close to striving to be the husband, father, or host that I want to be without paying attention to all my stress levels. So now you add legit therapy to that mix, and you can get far further down that healthy road. I want you to give it a try. BetterHelp, that's H-E-L-P, makes it easy, makes it affordable, makes it flexible and convenient. We're talking customized online therapy through video, phone, and chat sessions. And look, the chat thing is important too because you might not be comfortable with a camera on you, and you don't have to be. You can just talk to somebody, a dedicated therapist, more cost-effective, far more than in-person therapy, and you can start communicating in less than 2 days with somebody. With BetterHelp, you're going to have a great relationship with your therapist. And look, if it doesn't work out at any point with somebody, you can switch to somebody else at any time with no questions asked. I'm really excited to have these guys on board as a new sponsor. Keep yourself on the right track and try BetterHelp. That's H-E-L-P today. For a limited time offer, how about 10% off your first month at BetterHelp.com/JMart? Just throw my address there. BetterHelp, that's HELP.com/JMart. Get 10% off your first month. Keep yourself on the right track. Routine maintenance, it works for your mind too. Get yourself right. BetterHelp.com/JMart.
It's Super Start Battery Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. That means you can get up to a $25 gift card after mail-in rebate with the purchase of your Super Start battery. Return power, performance, and reliability to your car, truck, motorcycle, and more with Super Start batteries. Only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
For the ones going above and beyond. For the ones reaching
weekend with traffic on your home for Titans football. 104.5 The Zone.
So I hear the dogs barking right now, and it got me thinking. There's a video on my phone right now. I think my wife took a better one last night, but for the first time, when CG met Margot and when Margot met CG, today is her 6-month birthday, or 6 month. I guess it's not her birthday. It's 6 months. 6 months. She's 6 months old today. That's the proper way to say it.
There we go.
Last night, Margot was kind of like tugging at her long sleeve and like moving her arm around.
Yeah.
And CG just like looks down at Margot and then starts uproariously laughing and snorting like she's Ramon Foster. And then Margot's like, so they were literally playing together last night on the floor.
That's real cool.
It was cool to see. And I looked at Margot. I'm like, yeah, your running buddy's becoming sentient.
Hey, that's ice cold right there, man. It's good seeing kids get personality.
Yes. I understand now what people said, and said it, soak up every day.
Yep.
Because she's so much bigger.
Dog, I'm telling you.
Already. I'm like, dude, I did not know she was going to be this different 6 months after birth.
Jay.
We brought the food processor down because real food's about to happen. We're going to crush up some oatmeal today.
Toss that old thing out. Stuff right there. Toss that old thing out. Imagine this, though. And you'll get to this point because your daughter's going to be tall. I got a friggin' 6'2", 6'3" kid in my house. I'm looking at him and his changes in his body. Like, you got hair on your legs. You got veins in your eyes. I'm honest with you. It's weirding me out a little bit, dog. Because I remember the small kid. Jay, I see what people mean. Like, man, enjoy while they're little. Take every moment in, Jason Aloysius.
So, here's what the NFL sent yesterday. Tease this as it's a scout meeting Wednesday on a Thursday because of Monday Night Football. The Bills enter Monday Night Football with the league's top scoring offense, 34.4 points per game, and top scoring defense, 12.8 points per game against. They scored 35 in each of their past 4 games. If they do that again, if they score at least 35 on Monday night, they would become the 4th team in NFL history to register 35 in 5 consecutive games within a single season. The other teams that did it, you'll remember, well, most of them. Denver Broncos 2013 team, that being Peyton. St. Louis Rams 2000, that being the greatest show on turf, the Mike Martz offense. Philadelphia Eagles in 1949. That would be, you tell me, because I have no idea.
Never saw it.
And the other team that has a chance to do it is the Bills. Denver and St. Louis did it 6 times. Philly did it 5 consecutive. The Bills are at 4. So if they do this, then they jump into Eagles. They do it twice in a row. Then they tie for the most all time. They also lead the NFL with a plus 108 point differential, 172 points scored offensively, 64 points against through the first 5 weeks. They will become only the 5th team in the Super Bowl era to score at least 200 points and allow 100 or fewer points through their first 6 games of a season if they can put up 28 on Monday against the Titans. Other teams did that. The 2007 Patriots scored 230 points and gave up 92. St. Louis Rams, 99 again, 217 and 63. 96 Green Bay, who I believe won the Super Bowl. I think that was Favre's Super Bowl over Bledsoe. 204, 72. 204 points scored, 72 allowed. 68 Cowboys scored 213, gave up 64. And then there's the Bills this year, 172 scored, 64 against. So they right now are near the lowest in terms of points allowed. They are the lowest in points scored, but all these other teams have played a 6th game. They have the potential to get to the Green Bay number, I would say. That's probably the only one. I don't think they're going to score. I don't think they're scoring necessarily 40 to get to the Cowboys. But they have history. They have historic greatness right now in terms of what they have done on the field. Stats don't win fights. You can shut all this down on Monday, and you have the opportunity to do that. This isn't to bring you down. It's just to say, put some respect on their name. That's why I had them number 1 in the power rankings, because I do think right now they're the best overall team in football. And when you look at them in terms of their balance, their coaching, the mistakes they're not making, they're not beating themselves. They're just a well-run, smooth organization right now.
They are. They're on the same page. Like you said, it feels like the Falcons all over again. Before they went on their run too. That's what it looks like. You remember how hot they were? That team back then. Well, I say back then was it 2018. This team is good. Okay. As a player, I'm talking about pissed off that somebody's talking about them like that, but I absolutely love the challenge, man. But honestly, realize too, like you said, put some respect on their name.
And like I said, it's not like I think the Titans are not going to do that, but fans, you do it as well. The question of the day, we tweeted it out. A lot of good responses already. We'll start to read some of those. You can call in as well if you'd like, 615-737-1045. What team do you kind of root for when your real team isn't involved? This is whatever sport you want it to be. Like, I'm a diehard Braves fan, have been my entire life, but I'm always kind of pleased when the Rays are doing well.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, if it's Braves, and I hope the Rays get beat 1,000-0. But outside of that, I like to see the Rays do well. If the Braves are out, I hope the Rays win the Super Bowl or the World Series. I don't think they can win the Super Bowl. Last I checked.
That is demerit.
I was trying to say under my breath, I thought I was going to get demerited, and then I got demerited. No. So that's just one example. We got some good ones coming in. We'll get to some of that. Steve Palazzolo, Pro Football Focus, 25 minutes from right now. But when we come back, we will scout the Bills' defense. JMart and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone.
It's my turn!
The 3HL with Brent Doherty, Don Davenport, and Ron Slay.
Oh, my.
Your most informative and entertaining option for sports on your drive home.
Oh, my gosh.
Today, starting at 3 on 104.5 The Zone.
Usual delays on 840. This report brought to you by Donaldson Service Experts. Furnace freeze-ups? There's an expert for that. Let your local heating experts at Donaldson Air Service Experts keep you warm with $50 off any furnace repair. Call 866-EXPERTS. See website for license details. I'm Christy O'Brien with traffic on your home for Titans football. 104.5 The Zone.
From the WinBet studio, win with WinBet. WGFX Gallatin, Nashville.
A Cumulus media station.
The Titans and the Bills. Kickoff is Monday night at 7:15 on your home for Titans football. Trending now at 104.5 The Zone.
It is 7:01. Good morning. I'm Jonathan Schaefer. The Nashville Predators will be painting the town tonight. They open the regular season this evening at Bridgestone Arena by taking on the league's newest team, the Seattle Kraken. Puck drop sent for 7 o'clock. Predators have signed defenseman Matthias Ekholm to a 4-year, $25 million extension, which keeps him under contract through the 2025-26 season. Titans announced yesterday they have officially signed linebacker Avery Williamson to the active roster. He previously played for the Titans from 2014 through 2017. Meanwhile, safety Amani Hooker has returned to practice but remains on injured reserve. Talking about practice, wide receiver Julio Jones back on the practice field yesterday. He has not played the past 2 games because of a hamstring injury. But Dupree back on the practice field as well. He's missed the last 3 games, still recovering from his knee injury. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once. Here over the Titans and the Vols, this is 104.5 The Zone.
Do I have everybody's attention now?
Now it's time for Jason Martin and Vol for Life Ramon Foster.
Powered by all 4 Seasons Garage Doors.
Together, they are JMart and Ramon on 104.5 The Zone.
What's happening? Hour number 2, JMart and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone, powered by all 4 Seasons Garage Doors in Nashville. Guests will appear today via the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. Josh Ward, WNML, next hour. Coach Dave McGinnis in studio with us later on. Steve Palazzolo, Pro Football Focus, next segment. We'll ask him what he thinks about the Bills. I bet he's going to say they're good.
I bet that too.
How about one of the guests we got coming on tomorrow?
Ooh.
We talking about AD?
Tennessee Athletic Director.
Yeah, Danny White will join us tomorrow on the program. Kess is going to be on here tomorrow too, right?
That's right.
Bob Kessling's going to be on tomorrow. A lot of Vols coverage here on the show.
And where are we going to be this weekend?
We're going to be in Knoxville. I actually sent the email to Fox. I am free and clear for the weekend.
I said, get me up out of here.
I do think Abby's going to make the trip.
Hey, now.
So we're going to have a blast. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm hoping for a classic shootout kind of game that's just a heck of a lot of fun to watch. But I've only times I've been to Neyland haven't been great times for Tennessee football, even though I've been there for a couple of wins. I was there when you guys beat South Carolina. I was there when you beat Kentucky when Kentucky was riding high. But I was also there for a Florida game. That was the first one I ever went to. It was a Florida game. Let's just say that one didn't go well. And
so
we left before the end of that game. We left before the fourth quarter, as a matter of fact.
What you're saying is we should leave you here?
No, actually, I would have said that, but they started winning when I'm there now. I was also in the stands.
Like everything you
Ron
said,
will appreciate this.
You need to knock on wood.
I was also in the seats at TBA. The first game I ever attended with Abby outside of a Preds game was Tennessee-Kentucky basketball. Admiral Grant, that team, the senior year, or their final year, Jordan Bone, when they blew out Kentucky. Absolutely blew them out. So, actually, I'm kind of a good luck charm for local teams. The Preds usually win when I watch them now.
Hey.
The Vols usually win when I'm in attendance now.
You're going to have people telling you, hey, can you come to our venue, please?
And the Titans lost to the Ravens. That was that horrible game where Marcus got sacked 9 times. I was there for that game.
9.
He's bound.
I also went to the Denver game at the end of that year. Finally got to see Denver in person. First time I've ever gotten to see my team in person, and they got beat by Tennessee here. But I was there for the Tuesday night game last year for Buffalo. I was there for the Patriots game where you beat Tom Brady and had him on the field sitting there with his head down, sulking, upset because you got to him early. And then Belichick basically waved the white flag in that game. That was one of the games when Josh Gordon was playing for the Patriots and made a big play early, and that was about all. The Titans just locked them down after that. So I've actually been a bit of a good luck charm for local teams when I'm in attendance.
Yeah, the last Vol games I went to, Tennessee won. It was the orange and white game.
I feel like this.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
my gosh. I was about to give you credit. You stopped me in the middle of the sentence.
Safe Choose is violent.
That was horrendous. Steve Palazzolo, Pro Football Focus in the next segment. All right. Scout meeting Thursday. Let's look at the Bills' defense.
Got to bring up also the FedEx, what is it?
Oh, yeah, FedEx Ground Player of the Week. Guess who? Derrick Henry.
22.
If Urban Meyer had known what he's doing, it might have been James Robinson. But Urban Meyer doesn't know what he's doing, so it's Derrick Henry.
He didn't even know what his rep count was.
Offensive Player of the Week in the NFL was obvious.
It was Lamar.
Yeah.
AFC side was Lamar. Yeah.
And if it had been either one, it would have it was him and Brady because Brady threw 5 touchdowns.
Yeah.
But I still think it probably would have been Lamar.
What was it about?
And the Bucs are playing tonight on Thursday Night Football against the Eagles.
Is this 3 for Derrick Henry already?
At least this year. This year, at least.
Ground Player of the Week?
I'd say that's probably right.
Still got to watch what his MVP odds are. They're real low still, or real high.
He's probably the number one non-quarterback.
But it's 7 quarterbacks in front of him, though.
Is
it 8 in front of him?
Yeah.
Golly. Yeah, that's if he does 2,300, they got to kind of
If he gets 2,300, because I don't think you get a 2,000 yard. I'm not crediting a 2,000 yard season unless you do it in 16 games.
16.
Now I will take your best 16 games. Like I'll knock out the one that's the weakest.
Yeah.
But you got to hit 2,016 because that's been the way that you've made that list before.
That's why
you can start a new list and say he's the first to hit 2,017 games, but he's got to hit it in 16 for me to feel like, okay, he's done it again.
As far as volume as numbers goes, he's churning them out.
Oh, yeah. He is on pace to do it.
Yeah.
No question about that.
And that's why I mentioned like 23, 2,400. Like, that's like the 17th game, if he's playing in the 17th game, too.
Bills defense.
Leslie Frazier is the DC, as we said before, former head coach, also assistant head coach of the Bills, too. So he's got a little bit of rank there, man. He's a steady Eddie when it comes down to it. It's probably a consultant of Sean McDermott and his evolutions of a head coach also, man. Defensively, if they're not number 1 overall, they're close to number 1 overall as far as yards given up. Have blanked 2 NFL teams. The Dolphins and the Texans, and yes, I know they're trash, but he still blanked them. Okay, they've scored on other people, by the way, and also beat the Jags, the Texans have. 9 interceptions on the season, giving up 3.7 yards a rush. Derrick Henry's got his hands full. His team's got his hands full. Depending on what this offensive line looked like this Monday, is going to determine a lot. Defense is only giving up 32.3% on third down. Opposing teams have made 14 trips to the red zone, only 5 touchdowns. Not great, okay? Defensively for them, man, it's young and old. The average age of their team is like 26 years old. They got a lot of older guys. They got a lot of youthful guys, man. Some first-round players they've gotten and they're paying off dividends for them. It's stacked with young talent. Greg Rousseau is a guy. Ed Oliver is a headache up the middle. Like, he ain't big. He's not Geno. He's not Aaron Donald. He's a little bit more quick twitch than those guys.
I remember Ed Oliver in college putting on the jacket.
Yes.
At Houston, like not coming back in the game, coach.
Yes.
Had that issue with Tom Herman. He's over there with the giant, like he had the big black, it looked like starter jacket.
It was.
Just like a giant jacket on the sidelines, sat down like, no, I'm done.
And he was right. Okay. Yeah. He was right. First round draft pick. Okay. Jerry Hughes has been around for a long time. I'll say this. I respect this man a whole lot because you know what you're going to get week in and week out when it comes down to him. He's going to be a prick. He's going to be a headache. Everything that you hate about a player, he's a more respectable Vontaze Burfict. And I like Burfict too. I just hated his out of play stuff that he did. Jerry Hughes is that guy, okay? Tremaine Edmonds, again, family has a legacy in this league when it comes down to, he got 2 first rounders. Dad also played in the NFL, and they got another brother, Trey, who's a running back in this league. Really good, man. Matt Milano is a dude. Teron Johnson, I think, is second on the team as far as tackles goes. They got 5 forced fumbles on the team on the year. Rookie Greg Rousseau out of Miami. You heard Rhett speak about him yesterday also. Leading the team as a rookie with 3 sacks and also has an interception. Micah Hyde, again, speaking about the Titans passing game, he's got 3 picks on the season thus far too. And you can't forget about Jordan Poyer's on the other side and Tre'Davious White too. their rotation up front is pretty sick. They move guys in and move them out on that defensive front, man. They got some good backups at linebacker position. They got nickel players that play well. This defense is really solid. They have built from within, and it's paying dividends for them, man. I like them. But again, they have been beat. Pittsburgh took them to the deep end, drowned them. There's always that opportunity, but you better be on your game against this team, because this is one thing I say too. Start Lodalele. He's a guy that plugs up the middle and plays that position pretty well too. He doesn't care about doing grunt work. The thing that Polynesians that I've played with always do, they were going to do their job and they're going to do it well. Big body guy. They got big linebackers in the middle, and Matt Milano got paid this offseason and is paying off for the Bills too.
One thing, I read this. I didn't know this was a thing, but okay, because it's all built on numbers. The Aikman efficiency ratings.
Huh?
Troy Aikman has a formula, and he has it done in offense and defense. 33rd team, which is Mike Tannenbaum's deal, which is actually, that's a good place to go.
Yeah.
33rdteam.com. Instead of looking at total yards gained and allowed, Aikman combines 7 categories, placing more emphasis on some. He does 20% points per game, 20% points per red zone possession, 20% turnovers, 10% yards per rush, 10% yards per pass, 10% third down percentage, 10% first downs. That's how he looks at it. And he does it offensively, top offenses, and he does it defensively. Through the first 5 games of the season, the Buffalo Bills have dominated these ratings looking statistically with the number 1 defense and number 2 offense in the NFL. Heading into last week's AFC title rematch with the Chiefs, Bills' top-ranked defense was faced with the Chiefs' number 1 offense. Defense won out. Buffalo's next 5 opponents, a combined 6-19 thus far this season. Titans are one of the best teams they've got in the next 5. The Bills, should they beat Tennessee, are going to be a ridiculous team 5 weeks from now, barring some kind of an injury. But if you look at their numbers, not subjectively, if you look at pure on their numbers, their defense is preposterous, which is what Moan just laid out for you. We'll bring in Steve Palazzolo into the conversation after the break from Pro Football Focus, see what he has to say about the Bills, what he has to say about the Titans. Where can the Titans find their biggest advantage outside of 22? Who defensively can step up? And we'll talk a lot of other things, headlines around the NFL, of course, with our guy Steve. He's next. JMart and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone.
The Titans play Monday, so we have you covered Sunday with an NFL triple header. First, it's the Packers and Bears, followed by the Ravens and Broncos, and then the Steelers and Seahawks on Sunday Night Football on Nashville's home for the most NFL, 104.5 The Zone.
Hey, it's Ramon, and Nashville is one of the hottest housing markets in America. And if you're selling your home and want to know how much can you get for it here in Nashville, check out Open Door. Open Door has invented a whole new way to sell your home without all the hassles and hurdles of listing it, showing it off, the unknowns that just pop up out of nowhere. Go to opendoor.com, enter your address, and tell them a little bit about your house, and they'll make you an offer in minutes. Thing is, you get to skip all the hard parts, and you ask me, what are the hard parts, Mo? It's my house. It shouldn't be anything bad. No. When you start to sell your house, you got to make all the repairs, doing the prep work, cleaning it up, switching stuff out, decluttering. But no, with Open Door, you don't have to do any of that at all. Get your free offer at opendoor.com/myoffer. That's opendoor.com/myoffer. Offer eligibility varies, and Open Door is represented by Open Door Brokers, Inc. License 02061130 in California, Open Door Brokers, LLC, in its other markets.
Some things are just true. Like Geico makes it easy to save on boat insurance. And also, when you're calling into work from your boat, it's kind of hard to hide it.
Hey, Carl. Yeah, I just stepped out for lunch, but I'll be working on those reports all day. That sound? Oh, that's just me washing my hands. Bye.
Switch to Geico, and you could save hundreds on boat insurance. It's just true.
Part of the education at Genesis Diamonds is we blow open the door on long-held industry secrets and teach you to buy a diamond like we buy a diamond.
Genesis Diamonds Vice President David Cooper.
We teach you everything that other stores don't want you to know.
For example, did you realize that fancy cut diamonds like emerald cuts, princess cuts, ovals should always cost you significantly less, not more, than a comparably sized round diamond?
If you go to a jewelry store and they tell you that fancy-shaped diamonds are more rare and more expensive, that's an immediate red flag. Fancy-shaped diamonds are 20%
Life Ramon Foster, Jonathan Schaefer, Jason Martin. So that's a pretty big game coming up Monday night at Nissan Stadium.
Yeah.
You want to go?
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
I didn't mean you.
Oh.
I mean, we can go.
What about me?
We can go. We can go. Give me some tickets, Moan.
We go. I ain't got no tickets.
I need to talk to people downstairs.
We got to talk to
Yeah, make this
somebody.
happen.
Him downstairs.
Him
downstairs.
Who the heck is him?
Who the heck is him? Like I ain't got no name.
Like I ain't got no. R.I.P. Bernie,
Oh,
man.
indeed, man. Titans Ticket Thursday. When I said, do you want to go? That was Ola Daney. Titans fans, Titans Ticket Thursday means every Thursday before home game, you got a chance to win a pair of tickets to see the Titans against their home opponent. This week, it's the Bills. They're pretty good. Be caller number 5 to Jonathan Schaefer, 737-1045, 615-737-1045. Titans, Bills. Make sure you can go. 615-737-1045. Fifth caller wins 2 ducats to Titans Bills. And if you haven't called, don't, because there's too many lines lit right now.
Tables not included.
Unfortunately, this man can't attend. He can't win this contest. But he is tall enough to see potentially from outside the stadium.
Yeah.
He could just stand there and potentially see over the top of Nissan Stadium. Our good friend Steve Palazzolo, Pro Football Focus on with us. Steve, how are you?
Doing great. I think I might do that. I'll go stand outside Monday night.
You could. So I ask you this because I guess it might be relevant to the topic at hand with the Monday Night Football game, but who do you think's the best team in the NFL right now?
Oh, man, it's a good question. I'm actually looking at the PFF power rankings right now. I'm not just going to defer to that, but we do have Buffalo and Tampa Bay. So Bills and Bucs both tied for first. This is the first time Kansas City hasn't been first in our power rankings since, I think, sometime in 2019.
Wow.
So I think Buffalo has a strong case because they can win in multiple ways. You know, there was a game earlier this year against the Dolphins. They won 35-0. The offense actually wasn't that good in that game. It was the defense. You know, they were unbelievable. You know, this defense last year wasn't great, but I think for most of the Sean McDermott era, the Bills defense has done a great job. What they're doing this year, just avoiding big plays, making life difficult for opposing passing offenses, and just making smart moves as far as, you know, inviting teams to run and just making it difficult to score points. So I'll say the Bills right now because it's relevant for you guys. And you know, Josh Allen has played well, but I think most importantly, the Bills can win games in different ways. They're running the ball a lot better this year when they want to. So I'll go with the Bills. Aggressive nature of their defense. We've broken them down pretty convincingly in the last few days, and we know how good they are. But the one thing, you go back, you mentioned that Dolphins game, Steve. That's when Tua got hurt. That's when his ribs got hurt, and we haven't seen him since. How aggressive is Sean McDermott and Leslie Frazier's defense right now? Yeah, I mean, look, they're playing just really well all around. I think what they're able to do, you know, there's some aggressiveness in there, but it's also just not allowing the offenses to create big plays. You know, they had not given up a 20-plus yard completion, 20-plus air yards until the Kansas City game, and even then, Mahomes only went 1 for 5. Now, the thing to just be careful with all of that is defense is a lot more predicated on who you played than, say, offense is. So they have played the Steelers, and Big Ben can't throw the ball down the field right now. They did play Tua and Brissett, and they're not exactly, you know, great in that area. They played Taylor Heineke, and they played Davis Mills in a rainstorm. Now, all of that said, obviously they had a great game against Kansas City on Sunday night. There was some rain there as well. But that would be the one thing I would say, look, the defense is playing great, but if you want to knock them down a peg, you do have to consider who they played, the situations they played in. But they've got a good pass rush. Matt Milano's playing great ball at linebacker, you know, one of the best in the league at covering running backs out of the backfield. Tre'Davious White's awesome at corner, and they've always had active safeties in Buffalo since McDermott got there. So they got playmakers at every level.
Yeah, they do. And just to start here first, they got a defensive front, Steve, that rotates like crazy. They're making plays like crazy. And to your point, they hadn't played a lot of good teams, but they blanked 2 NFL teams, man. And I think it starts with them stopping the run. Derek Henry, on the other hand, is the FedEx Ground Player of the Week again. What kind of task does this Titans team have against this defensive front and also the linebackers? Because Tremaine Edmonds is solid. Like you said, Milano's solid. That front 7 of theirs seems to be holding their own still.
Yeah, they really are. And they definitely came into the season looking like they had one of the deepest defensive lines. I think we've certainly seen that. You know, Ed Oliver's playing much better football too. the former first-round pick, where he's struggled a little bit. I think his first couple seasons. AJ Epinesa, they drafted Gregory Rousseau, who's almost my size. All arms and legs, tough to block. So a lot of good players up there, and I think Buffalo strategically. The interesting thing against the Titans is Buffalo likes to play too high. They like to invite the run and say, look, we'd rather that you run the ball than pass the ball. Because, again, historically under McDermott, and that's just trusting your front seven to stop the run. Obviously, with Tennessee and with Derrick Henry, it could change a little bit. But I think the Bills do a really nice job of keeping guys fresh, stopping the run with fewer bodies. If they do that against Tennessee, there might be an advantage there, right? You might be able to take advantage of that and have some success with Derrick Henry and then work and play action off of that. But to this point, Buffalo's done a really nice job of trusting their front seven to do the dirty work in the run game, and it's working out so far.
Speaking of just dirty work, though, Josh Allen is running the ball. He's actually second leading rusher on their team, but he's also, he can heave it a mile down the field too. When he's running the ball, are they more effective offensively when he does that type of stuff, or it's just a part of his game regardless of what they're doing?
It's just an added weapon. A couple of years ago when Lamar Jackson had all his rushing yards, and Allen's always had a lot of rushing yards, I always tried to make the point that they're doing it differently. Like Lamar doesn't just run around and scramble. It's usually the designed running game where he has his success. With Allen, he was more of a scrambler. Now, all this, and a scrambler meaning it's a passing play and he's running around and making plays. Now, you saw that in the Kansas City game. All of a sudden, they're running QB sweep and QB power and actually putting the ball in his hands by design. And we know that it just changes the math at the line of scrimmage, right? Like when you think you have enough bodies to stop the run, if he hands it to the running back, you do. But if he keeps it, you don't, right? And then it's like, all right, go cover it. Go tackle this 250-pounder. So it's just an added weapon because Allen has improved greatly as a passer since he entered the league. He still puts the ball in harm's way a little bit. Again, he played in the rain, but he was chucking at the linebackers a little bit against the Texans and against the Steelers. But he's more accurate. He could throw the ball down the field, and then all of a sudden you add this QB run game element, and it just makes the Bills that much more dangerous because it's all about having answers on offense, and it's just another answer that they have.
Steve Palazzolo, Pro Football Focus, joining us here on the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. Steve, there was a game back in Week 2 between the Chargers and the Cowboys. Those are two of the best teams in the league right now. I don't know what you can extrapolate from one game to the next. If they played again, it would be different. But which of those two teams do you like better right now?
Oh, man, I like both of them right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think, I think looking back, it's like, man, we should have paid attention more to that game. We didn't realize how good both teams were maybe at the time. I like both. I really like the way the Chargers are trending. Brandon Staley, their head coach, he's all over the news because he's just saying smart things at his press conferences. And I think that's at the starting point, right? I mean, from an analytics, driven PFF, we would continue to say the run game complements the pass game. You don't have to run to set up play action, all these different things, right? And Staley's like echoing those things, so we think he's great. But I think he understands, the aggressive nature. I was joking that their game against the Browns with both teams and going for all these fourth downs and all the stuff that they did felt like football 10 years from now, where it's just not that every game is going to be in the 40s, but it's understanding how to maximize points, maximize advantages. And I think the Chargers are just doing that. Plus Herbert's playing incredible ball. I mean, he's got a cannon for an arm, but that's not even the best thing he does. He just doesn't miss throws. He's been fantastic. The defense, they've had their ups and downs, but they got some playmakers there. So I'll take the Chargers. I think they're trending in the right direction, and it's starting from the top down with Brandon Staley.
Just when we think the Raiders are going to do something cool, man, they have a scandal. And the question I have for you is what does this do for that team minus, Gruden, and what kind of momentum will they either get or lose behind us? Because, it's their head coach. I'm sure they got some inside the building rumblings going on about what's next, but how do you see this team bouncing back and being competitive?
Yeah, obviously this is not the way the Raiders were hoping the season was going to go. I think when I look at the Gruden era, I think the offense continued to get better. His side of the ball continued to get better. Even though they struggled last week, I wonder how much the off-field stuff was a factor. But the offense hasn't been an issue. It's always been the defense, and that's been trending in the right direction. So even with Gruden out, you have to, I think they have enough offense to make a run here. You know, Carr's a good quarterback. They've got some playmakers. They got to, the offensive line's been trouble. They got to figure that out. But the defense has been so impressive. Casey Hayward at corner as a free agent signing, Yannick Ngakoue, Max Crosby's become one of the best pass rushers in the NFL. So they've got a lot of pieces defensively that they haven't had previously. So assuming they get past the distraction part of it, they're going to be a competitive team. I think they're, a fringe playoff type of team. And then I think going forward, it'll be, okay, well, Gruden had all this personnel power, and every draft night he's drafting somebody like 50 spots higher than even the consensus draft board. So that's what I want to see is how much when Mike Mayock maybe has some control, can he reshape this roster? I mean, because Gruden's had his hand in all this stuff. Remember, he had 51% control, which is 100% control according to Mark Davis. Every single first-round draft pick they've missed on, essentially, and they've had like 8 of them over the last 4 years. So that's what I'm interested to see going forward is how they reshape this roster with Gruden out of the picture.
But Steve, what's weird about it is they still have a lot of talent. Like if you're an offensive head coach, like if you're or somebody that wants to be a head coach, and you're like Brian Dable or something, it's not like the cupboard's bare out there. Like, and they're in a new facility, a beautiful place to play. All this kind of stuff. Carr was playing well. Darren Waller's one of the best tight ends in the league. You kind of like Josh Jacobs and what he can bring. Like, there's talent on that football team for whoever it is that might end up with that gig.
Oh, absolutely. And that's why I think the offense certainly has enough players. Carr is right on that cusp of being, say, a top 10-ish type of quarterback in today's NFL, which, again, you can win with that, right? There is talent. What I'm saying, the interesting thing here is I think they found a lot of talent in odd places, in the 3rd round, 4th round, free agency, whatever it is. But they haven't really hit on their first rounders a whole lot. I know Josh Jacobs is a really good player, but, a running back doesn't move the needle as far as winning games, except in Tennessee with the great Derrick Henry. So that's the thing. They have talent. There's stuff to build around. Definitely interested to see how much of a hand Mayock has in the future there with the Raiders.
One thing that happened this week with the Titans, Steve, is they lost a player to retirement abruptly. I just got to ask you this too: what does this depth for this team look like as far as the offensive line? How have they performed? And also, what was Tyson Brayler as far as you guys' measurements in the game that I think he started in Seattle? Is this a huge loss to the Titans right now?
I mean, I think anytime you lose a little bit of depth, it's an issue. Titans have one of our lower graded pass blocking units in the NFL so far. It's been a bit of an issue, I would say, as far as, pass protection goes. I'm going to see where, Sam Braylo's never been, he's never been a great player. He's been a good rotational player. He's okay. But I think, the veterans that they've been playing at right tackle was kind of buying time for Dylan Raydun's, right, to eventually be that guy, even if he's playing mostly guard in the preseason. So I think, right tackle's been a bit of an issue this year overall. Injuries have been an issue at times. Nate Davis is still one of the more lopsided grades that we have, where he's one of the better run blockers in the league, but one of the worst pass protectors in the league. You don't see that discrepancy a lot in our grading system. So I think it's similar to last year, to be honest, the Titans offensive line, where they were one of our better run blocking offensive lines, one of the worst pass blocking offensive lines. And it's, you got to kind of merge the two at some point in Tennessee.
I saw week 1, the Bills, they took their only loss of the season against the Steelers, and I did our scouting breakdown of what the Titans could do to try to expose or find a weak spot on it. And the one guy that had a bad week, man, and we all have him too, but John Feliciano, the left guard, had a bad day against Cam Hayward, man. And I just want to know along their offensive line, because that's kind of where the game is going to be dictated, I feel like, this week. Can they protect Josh Allen? And also, what can the Titans do against them? But in this position, as far as finding a weak spot, Feliciano, or do you kind of look at the right tackle rookie, Spencer Brown?
Yeah, I think Brown can be had, especially if you put a Harold Landry over him, just because Brown's so tall. I think you've got a pad level issue, right? Landry could take advantage of that. And Ramon, I'm just glad you're, catching on to PFF grades. Cam Hayward was our highest graded player in week 1, dominating Feliciano. So I'm just glad when you see the tape and it matches PFF grades and you could confirm it, because that is what we saw as well. The pressure against the Bills guards in week 1 by the Steelers was incredible. And the Steelers weren't blitzing. It was just domination up front. And then Josh Allen just missed a bunch of throws. I mean, that's why they lost to the Steelers. There was pressure up front. Josh Allen just missed open throws that day. There's two schools of thought with Allen. You can sit in zone and make him play patience, or you can blitz him and make him make a quick decision. I think, 4-man rush, playing man behind it, Bills are going to get open. But you got to mix it up against Allen and definitely try to take advantage of the guards in Buffalo.
Real quick, what chance do you give the Titans of winning on Monday?
Oh, man. I mean,
you hyped them up with what you just said.
What did you say? What was your percentage? Because Ramon was talking over you?
Yep.
40%. All right. 60-40 Bills. That's fair, right?
You're being real careful. You're I'm Ron Burgundying this moment, Steve.
60-40. No, you get the crowd all hyped up. Look, I think the Bills are good, but you can force Allen into some mistakes. And as great as the Bills' defense is, a good offense should be able to trump a good defense. I think there'll be some opportunities against the Bills. It'll be a good game.
Appreciate you, Steve. Thanks so much, brother.
Appreciate it,
Steve. Thank you, guys.
Indeed. That's Steve Palazzolo, Pro Football Focus. I'm Ron Burgundy, 60-40 Bills. Is that okay?
He hyped it up pretty good by saying, hey, and we knew that to be true. They can get exposed as far as their interior offensive line with the Bills, but they're solid at times. They have been since the first game.
Question of the day. And I've got a crazy story to tell you when we come back involving one of our listeners.
What?
615-737-1045. I know we had some calls we weren't able to get to. If you want to call back, you can. But the question we asked this on Twitter, we got a lot of really good response to this, so we're going to start reading some of these as we move on through the show. But what's your surrogate team, as I call it, which is the team that you kind of pull for when your team's not involved? Like you're a diehard fan of X, but when they're not playing, you just kind of look over. Maybe they're in a different conference, and you're just like, yeah, I always kind of like to see them play well. Like mine is, like, you won't find a bigger Braves fan than me. I'm a Braves fan, just like Will and a lot of other people in this building have been. I grew up that way. It's never changed. But I also kind of like it when the Rays win. Like I kind of always have kind of, for some reason, gravitated to them. Just like there's teams you absolutely can't stand, there's always the ones you kind of like. And the reason for this topic is because of the Kraken purchase that my man Moan helped me out with a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
Even though I'm a Penguins guy. Shafe's a Penguins guy. And we like to see the local team do well. No question about that. But this Kraken logo and nickname have sold me before I ever saw them play. And so I'm torn. And so I'm going to kind of watch them and hope they do well. It's just kind of the way that is. So I'm asking that question. It's kind of just a little fun topic on the side. But I got a crazy story about one of our listeners when we come back.
I kind of want to hear this.
JMart and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone.
Coming up today on the 3HL.
It's Thirsty Thursday. You know what I'm thirsty for? Some football talk. We're getting close to the weekend, man, and we got to break it down with the best in the film business, Greg Cosell.
And then we'll break it down with a vet, NFL vet, retired NFL vet, one that just goes by the name of Savagery. Ramon Foster will join us also.
Let's do it. You ready?
Oh, we're going to rock and rolling. It is Weekend Eve. That's what I was trying to get to.
Well, you got to it.
Today, starting at 3 p.m. on 104.5 The Zone.
It's JMart. As a first-time home buyer, applying for that first home loan can seem like a daunting task. And it is. It's big. Might be the biggest purchase you ever make in your life. It's assuredly the biggest purchase you have made to this point in your life. So you want to get it right, but you don't have to worry. Mortgage Investors Group exists. End of spot. No. Mortgage Investors Group will be here for you every single step of the way. I want you to get ahead of all the other buyers. Get pre-qualified before you start looking. Pre-qualification gives you the bargaining power that you need. It's going to help you close quicker. It's going to get you into the house that you want, not your third or fourth choice because the first two were off the market before you could finish. You got to get pre-qualified if you want to get moving. So that's what Mortgage Investors Group specializes in. They're committed to helping Tennesseans just like you and your family fulfill your dreams of home ownership today. Their mortgage experts are ready to help find and structure the mortgage to best fit your needs, best achieve your goals. They got programs that you want to learn about. I want you to go to migonline.com today. migonline.com. Read all about it. Get the advice you need to get you started. Get that pre-qualification process going. Find out where the nearest office is to you as well. Hendersonville, out near Ramon. Brentwood, out near me. Cool Springs. Wherever it is, there's an MIG near you. They've got you covered. migonline.com or text MIG today to 31399. Yeah, you, the one that's been thinking about this. You in the car. MIG to 31399. Do it right now. What better chance? What better time than now
to find the home that you've been dreaming of for a long time. MIG to 31399 to get pre-qualified with Mortgage Investors Group. Eco Housing Lender, license number 109111.
Hey, it's Ramon. Guys, make your health a priority with a quick and easy health assessment at Low T Center. They exclusively specialize in men's wellness, and they are
Brentwood, watch for heavy delays Old Hickory Boulevard westbound at Edmondson Pike. We've got stop-and-go traffic from Woodland Hills Drive. Elm Hill Pike, there's an accident at Atrium Way. Jolton 24 westbound reports of a crash at Whites Creek Pike. No problems coming in on 65 or 40, no unusual delays on 440. I'm Christy O'Brien with traffic on your home for Titans football. 104.5 The Zone.
What's your name? What? What is your name? Josh Norman. What's your name? Derek Henry. You better not break my mother into this. You thought I did? You better not. Josh Norman, get you some. Oh.
Oldie but a goodie. Still on the charts. JMart and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors in Nashville. Josh Ward, WNML, will join us in the next hour. Coach Mack, I see him across the hall. He will pop in with us in the fourth hour of the show. All right. Really, we're going to get some of your calls here in 1 second. I want to tell you this real fast. I got a text message from a good friend of mine who used to be in the media, went to school with me at Western Kentucky, and now is a pastor in Wisconsin.
Hope he doesn't listen to this show.
He said, "This DeJesus guy you interact with on Twitter."
This who?
DeJesus, Michael DeJesus,
I know.
who's one of our oldest listeners.
No one messes with the DeJesus.
So DeJesus is celebrating his 4th anniversary today.
Yeah.
So congrats to him. Also, Auntie Erin celebrated her 19th anniversary to her husband, I believe, 2 days ago.
Yeah.
We missed congratulating her. So congrats on everybody.
Yeah,
out there.
they're on
Caples
vacation down in Florida.
Yeah.
Caples had one too.
Caples, I saw that photo too. So it's that's right.
Disturbed by all these people getting married during football season, but I digress.
If I could have changed it, I probably would have did a fall.
We got married on September 22nd, so right in football season. But we did pick an off weekend for the Titans and the Vols. The Titans have played on Thursday Night Football, and the Vols were off.
Fair. That's fair.
Good.
So it said, this is the text message. This DeJesus guy you interact with on Twitter. Years ago, I had a mega crush on this girl in my school. So much so that I would go with her family as a friend, air quotes, to her travel softball tournaments. This girl was never interested in me, but who cares? I had a crush. She had a friend on the team that I started hanging out with, and lo and behold, another crush. We hung out a few times. That friend is DeJesus' wife. So whenever you interact with him, I get funny flashbacks.
Look at Jesus out here swiping.
And then he said, took her from me. And then he said, just kidding. I hung out with her twice. And I responded to him, it's true if you believe it. And he said, exactly. You can't challenge the truth of my sincerely held beliefs. So, Michael DeJesus, happy anniversary to you and your wife. One of my closest friends.
That's good.
Knew your wife before she was your wife. Hung out a few times with her.
It's my turn.
I thought that was pretty funny.
This the
small
Jesus,
world. Love
this
it.
The Jesus guy.
This is the small world. Guy. I like how it starts with this DeJesus guy.
By the way, I don't know if it's DeJesus or DeJesus. I'm not sure.
That's a good point.
I actually don't know.
That's a daggone good point. Yeah. We might be Mariota-ing him.
But it always reminds me of the Big Lebowski clip that I can't play on the air.
Arthur in South Mississippi. Arthur, what's going on, brother?
South Sip.
Hey, how y'all doing? What's going on, Ramon?
Morning.
How y'all doing?
Doing well, brother.
Hey, don't snipe me. Please don't snipe me. I got a lot of time. I'm trying to move fast. Now, listen. Okay, so the Ravens are the team that I root for if the Titans can't get it done.
Wow.
And I know we've had a lot of problems with the Ravens in the past, but growing up watching with Ray Lewis and Eddie George, and Ray Lewis became one of my favorite, all-time defensive players. So that's how I got there. But what I really want to talk about is, JMart, I have a task for you. I was never more hyped than I was last year after we beat the Bills at 6 o'clock in the morning in the shower, jumping up and down because JMart was telling us all these things. Please find that clip. Please, JMart, find that clip because I was jumping up and down. You were saying, I can't remember exactly the context, but you were telling us COVID-19, get that out of here. Just all this adversity that we was faced with, and you were just throwing it out there, and I loved it. And if you can find that clip and play that clip, that'll be wonderful.
Okay. All right. Arthur, we'll try to find it. I do remember opening that show with a bunch of stats like I just laid it out, and then we played the Josh Norman cut or something like that.
Oh yeah, because we had 3 or 4 Josh Norman mixes.
I want to say that I opened that kind of in a different way, and maybe that's what he's referring to. Yeah. The other thing he was saying, man, Ravens when the Titans are out is a different one. I said everybody has a surrogate team. Like when your team's not involved, who do you kind of like, or even as your team's playing in your conference, maybe you look in the other conference, you like somebody. Or somebody that you kind of like to see them do well. Just like there's a team you really don't like to see do well.
Yeah.
There's always, I think that everybody has a surrogate team. And it doesn't just have to be football. It can be any sport. Eric in Nashville. Eric, what's up?
Hey, guys. I cheer for the Titans. I love them now, but they're still this team. I love them to death. Could never cheer against them. I grew up rooting for 25 years. I was the Dallas Cowboys. I went to a regular season game when they played the Chicago Bears. This is when Emmett and Michael Irvin and Troy Aikman played for him. Before and after the game, I got to meet Drew Pearson. Not only did I get to meet Drew Pearson and got his autograph and stuff, a guy that was working with him doing pre- and postseason game for the Cowboys, a guy by the name of Marco Aristano, who worked for the media and stuff here in Nashville, Tennessee, lived in Nashville because he knew Chris Clark at the time, worked for Channel 5 and some other media personnel like Oprah Winfrey and some others when he was working here. This was back around about the late 90s. So, yeah.
Yeah,
I can't cheer against them.
Look,
that's about right.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yep.
I think everybody has one. They just do. Cousin Joey, we'll get to you before the break. What's going on, Joe?
What's up, Joe?
What's up, fam?
Hey.
So my in baseball, my team has always been, since I've been knee high to a grasshopper, has been the Yankees. Love them to death. Good, bad, ugly. But I am also a closeted Mets fan. I kind of fell in love with them a couple times I've been up to New York, and just the way they're kind of the hard-nosed team, so to speak. Always the underdogs, but yeah, kind of fell in love with the Mets. So if the Yankees are out of it, and it's been a hard last couple of years, but I pull for the Mets also.
All right. I mean that's a little Drake-ish.
What? But he ain't wrong. And
yeah.
I guarantee you this too. As intense as the Titans fans are, you pull back some of that two-tone blue, it might be a couple stars under a lot of people's jerseys.
Oh, I was told when I first moved to town in the early 2000s that pre-Titans, it was a lot of Steelers and Cowboys fans in the
like
region.
It is in most places.
As it is in most places, because those were national teams.
Right.
Yeah, so you'll see a lot of Cowboys and Steelers gear throughout Tennessee. And that has nothing to do with the Titans in terms of it being a commentary against them. It's just those are older generation fans. That's what they had.
I do believe, as we go to break, though, the worst one that you would ever see is if there is an MLB team here. Like, I'm not going to not be a Braves fan when they come here. It's not like I'll root against Nashville necessarily, but I'm not going to change up. I think there's still going to be a ton of Braves fans in this town, even if Nashville were to get an MLB team.
100%.
You almost hope they put them in the AL. Because if not, we got a problem. Big time problem. 615-737-1045. Josh Ward, WMNML, will join us in about 25 minutes. How about a college football top 10 plus more of your phone calls on your surrogate teams, the team that you cheer for that's not necessarily your team, but you always like to see them do well. Plus, Ball and Ali says the Titans are a lock. So we'll take his call, and please don't try to smack talk all day. We'll be right back. It's JMart and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone.
This is where the Titans play. 104.5 The Zone.
Pike, watch for stop-and-go traffic from Woodland Hills Drive. Madison, Old Hickory Boulevard, we've got an accident east of Brick Church Pike. Elm Hill Pike, there's an accident clearing at Atrium Way. And Jolton, reports of an accident 24 westbound at Whites Creek Pike. This report brought to you by Indeed.com. Is finding the right candidate slowing you down? Cut straight to you're hired with Indeed. Their hiring platform makes it easy to attract, screen, and interview candidates all in the same place. To find your next great hire, visit Indeed.com/credit. I'm Christy O'Brien with traffic on your home for Titans football. 104.5 The Zone.
From the WinBet studio, win with WinBet. WGFX Gallatin, Nashville.
A Cumulus media station.
The Titans and the Bills. Kickoff is Monday night at 7:15 on your home for Titans football. Trending now at 104.5 The Zone.
8:02, good morning. I'm Jonathan Schaefer. Nashville Predators painting the town tonight. They open the regular season this evening at Bridgestone Arena, taking on the league's newest team, and Jason Martin's second or third hockey team now, the Seattle Kraken. Puck drop set for 7 o'clock. The Predators have signed defenseman Matthias Ekholm to a 4-year, $25 million extension, which keeps him under contract through the 2025-26 season. Titans officially signed linebacker Avery Williamson to the active roster. Previously played for the team from 2014 through 2017. Meanwhile, safety Monty Hooker has returned to practice but remains on IR. Talking about practice, wide receiver Julio Jones, he was back on the practice field yesterday. He hasn't played in the past 2 games because of a hamstring injury. Bud Dupree on the practice field as well. He missed the last 3 games, still coming back from his ACL knee injury. For our foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Balls. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Do I have everybody's attention now?
Now it's time for Jason Martin and Ball for Life Ramon Foster.
Powered by all 4 Seasons Garage Doors.
Together, they are JMart and Ramon on 104.5 The Zone.
What's happening? Hour number 3, JMart and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone, powered by all 4 Seasons Garage Doors in Nashville. Good morning to everybody. Other than the 2 people I work for, because I don't really care. 11-year NFL
You, Aaron Rodgers.
11-year NFL veteran, Ball for Life, Ramon Foster, Jonathan Schaefer, Jason Martin. We'll be in Knoxville on Saturday, broadcasting at Calhoun's before the game, and then going and having a blast.
Ratchet.
For a sell-out. That's going to be a loud, hype building. You better hope you don't lay an egg because you have the opportunity here. You talk about equity. You go find a way to win this game, or you make this thing super competitive all the way throughout.
Yeah.
That's going to be a rocking stadium right there.
I had people from UT hit me up last night just randomly. And was just like, hey, these StubHub prices, it's like, we're 4-2. Wait till we're good.
$1,300 for a parking pass.
Parking pass.
Wait, what?
For a parking pass.
I'm looking for parking passes. Like, okay, let me.
$1,300.
Yes.
On StubHub.
StubHub.
I paid around that to get to Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Final.
That's what I was about to say. Like,
let
that's
alone
nuts.
a parking pass for just an Ole Miss UT SEC game.
You paid to go. You paid $1,300 to go to the game.
Yeah, I couldn't get in otherwise.
I mean, media got me in.
Hey, wait.
Yeah, but I
wasn't.
wasn't in sports at that time.
Hey, talk
anymore.
your stuff, humble.
You should have hit me up. I was actually in Austin at a television festival. Wasn't able to go. Just had
Yeah.
tickets that went unused. Had suites for.
I don't think I knew you then, though.
It was a better time, wasn't it?
For both people.
Things were so simple.
Yeah, $1,300 for a parking pass. Your boy hard pass on that.
El
Parking
Paso.
pass?
Yeah, definitely El
I'll Uber
Paso.
before I pay for that. All right, Lee.
So we got Josh Ward coming on in the next segment.
Oh, we have
so
a
we'll be able to jump
clarification
into that.
we need to make, too. Michael DeJesus.
I don't care. He's Michael DeJesus. I don't care.
We do not care.
Straight up, man.
Violence has been chosen.
When have we ever cared on this show?
Never.
dog?
Top observation. Adam says J-Mart rocking the too long for buck shorts.
Oh.
It's because I'm not a jerk, Adam.
Jeez.
Wow. Man.
It's just getting real out here.
Dodging them bullets right now.
Lee.
Like, I got great thighs, but you don't need to see them.
You're like Keanu in the Matrix right now. What is going on?
Y'all are wilding today. Y'all
Let's
are
go to a phone call real quick. Kelly in Nashville. Kelly, what's up?
Yes, hey, good morning. This is the first time I've ever called in.
Awesome.
I wanted to say my second favorite sports team.
Mm-hmm.
So I grew up in the 80s in the country in Ashland City, and I had cousins next door who were obnoxious Dallas Cowboy fans.
Mm-hmm.
And so I hated Dallas, and there was nobody else here to root for. So my grandmother lived in San Francisco, and I became a diehard 49ers fan.
Mm-hmm.
First, because I thought they had pretty uniforms because I was a tomboy, but I was a girl. And then because I thought Joe Montana had beautiful eyes. But, that was a good reason when you're 10. But I grew up absolutely loving them, and my grandmother would mail me the Sunday paper, and I would read it on Tuesday. And all my life I was a 49ers fan, still am, until we got the Titans, and the Titans do have to be first now.
Hey, now.
No, that's a great call.
That's not
Everybody
bad.
has a reason, right? Like,
Yep.
What is hilarious to me is when it's like, oh, when did you become a fan of? Well, I mean, most of the time, if you were a kid and it wasn't a local interest, you probably became a fan of a team that won because they had players that you liked. Like,
Yeah.
I'm a Broncos fan because of Elway and because of Mark Jackson and Vance Johnson and Ricky Nattil and Carl Mecklenburg and all of those guys that I watched growing up. Like, I didn't pull for them when they were awful because I was a kid, and you want to see, like, teams that win, you probably gravitate towards. If you have a local interest, then that's a little bit different. Unfortunately, for Detroit fans, there's a lot of kids that are Lions fans. T-Vol98 on Twitch says the Lions are my surrogate team, and he just has in parentheses pain. I think there's an ointment for that. He says the Cardinals. I don't know if that means St. Louis or Arizona.
Both.
Or Louisville.
Yeah.
Or probably other Cardinals.
Other Cardinals.
Stanford Cardinal.
Stanford Cardinal. That's a tree.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of those. So your surrogate team is just kind of the backup question today. What team do you kind of want to see do well when your team's not involved in the game? Your surrogate team. And this comes off of me now owning Kraken merch and being excited about it. Even though I'm a Penguins fan, I'm kind of going to be pulling for the Kraken. I kind of like that nickname.
Release the
Kinda like that logo.
Kraken.
All right, so top 10 college football.
Yeah.
And we'll have Josh Ward come on. I think it's tough. And I think the real debate to have, and I'll ask Josh this off the top too. Who's the second best team in college football right now? Like, Georgia's number one. We do this 10-1, but we don't really need to bury the lead here.
Yeah.
Georgia is the number one team in the country until further notice, and they may prove that they can't handle it again sooner rather than later. But they're scoring points and winning games with backup quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what happens if JT Daniels comes back and he's good? I mean, Stetson Bennett looks the part right now, and he's a backup.
That's good also when you got a defense that'll support you the way it is.
So I at 10, I've got Michigan State.
And I think we might be flipped. I got Oregon at 10.
I don't have them in the top 10 right now.
Oregon? Oh.
I've got them just outside.
Okay.
I got Michigan State at 10. Michigan could be that could be, when that matchup happens, that could be two undefeated teams in an in-state rivalry for the first time fairly late in the season for a while. That could be a really fun game.
Finally, Michigan can win a big game.
Mm-hmm. 9, I've got Kentucky.
You got Kentucky that high?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you're not
undefeated
wrong.
with back. When's the last time they beat LSU and Florida in the same season? I wonder if it's ever happened.
No, I would.
If it had, it would have been decades and decades ago once or something like that.
Sure.
Now, we don't know how good LSU is, but it doesn't matter. They still don't beat LSU.
Yeah, the hefty lefty may have got maybe one of those wins, not two of them.
But Kentucky's undefeated. They're a really good football team. This is not fake. This isn't they've taken advantage of bad teams. No, they're good.
Yeah, they're good.
They're good. So I'm giving them their flowers.
I actually got Michigan State at 9. I got Michigan State at 9 again. Undefeated, impressive so far. They're going to have to prove it moving forward, though.
Charles Foster demerit.
What'd he do?
He said on the YouTube chat where you can find us on Zone TV, he says, JMart, $1,300 for a parking pass, and you talk about humble Hendersonville. $1,300. It's Moan that found this, and it's only him that could afford it.
Charles know that, hey, we're too humble to buy something like that, man. I'll take your demerit for you, Chuck. I got you.
As long as one of you is taking it. Number 8, I got Penn State.
Penn State also.
They lost. When they lost Clifford, they lost everything.
Yeah, they did.
And they don't beat top 5 teams.
Mm-hmm.
James Franklin, I don't think, has ever done it.
Good.
You ain't wrong.
Yeah.
Number 7, Michigan.
Same, Michigan. It's crazy. These Big Ten teams are about to run off right here.
But a lot of them are about to
drop off.
Yeah, we're going to see that happen. Number 6, I got Ohio State.
Same.
I'm not sure they're not the second or third best team in the country, though, right now, but they have lost a game, and so I've got them knocked down there.
Yeah, me looking at how good they've been for a long time, like, they should be better is all I'm saying about where they are right now. Again, like you said, they're moving in the right direction, and a bad loss of somebody is going to push them right back up into that college football playoff conversation.
I wonder what Penn State would be if Levis hadn't left, and now he's at Kentucky, because he can play. They could really use him at quarterback right now.
Yeah.
I mean, he can absolutely play.
2 times they've dropped the ball on quarterbacks like this.
Number 5. Some people, David Ubben said they're the second best team in the country. I don't necessarily disagree in terms of talent overall, maybe, but Bama's 5 for me because they lost.
I got Cincy. Because that Bama loss was
Can't
one.
do that to them.
I know, but that Bama loss was A&M, and I know they were unranked, but still, to me, I got Bama 4.
Okay. I got Oklahoma 4.
Okay, and I got Oklahoma 3.
Oklahoma, I think I had out of the top. Yeah, I had them 7th last week, but they made a quarterback change, and I kind of believe in that guy.
Have they announced who's starting?
No,
this week?
but they canceled media availabilities because somebody shot it from a building. A student publication found was watching it from an adjacent building.
Straight up.
They closed Lincoln Riley closed all media availabilities because they said Caleb Williams was getting a lot of first team reps.
Ooh.
That's just stupid,
What
in my
does that
opinion.
do?
Football coaches.
That's
are
so dumb, man.
paranoid.
What
so
does that
dumb.
do for Rattler, though?
I mean, Rattler's out.
He's
favorite Heisman favorite, which I didn't understand it.
I hate you.
I hate you.
Hate you, yeah.
Hate you.
Number 4 is Oklahoma. I got Cincy at 3. They're undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
They've got a really solid quarterback who's a top 5 Heisman guy. Fickell's a great coach. They've had a great defense for a long time, and they're undefeated and beat Notre Dame and South Bend. I've got to give them credit until I see otherwise. Now, they play UCF on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Don't have the full complement of weapons that you would want, but Malzahn has won games he shouldn't win before. Keep your eyes peeled on that game.
This is true. Well, yeah, Oklahoma, Iowa 2, Georgia 1.
Yeah, that's right.
See, I want to,
but I don't think I was even close to the second best team.
See,
in the
I want to
country.
go through mine real quick
Yeah,
because
dude.
I did best team instead of record. So.
Yeah, I would like to have
Okay,
that. I'd like to
so-
have that discussion.
So real
later.
quickly, Michigan State 10, Kentucky 9. I think they're that good.
Yeah, I do too.
Michigan 8, and I could flip-flop Kentucky and Michigan.
I could too.
Penn State 7 with Clifford at quarterback.
Yeah, that's a big caveat.
Iowa 6 because they have no offense.
Agreed.
Cincinnati at 5
Mm-hmm.
because I think they're below 4 Oklahoma, who's now got the new quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Ohio State's 3, Alabama's 2, Georgia's 1.
See, I like that way to do it. I like looking at it in terms of best teams. I think this is the way you would have to rank them, but that's different than based on who do you really think is the best overall team in the country. When we come back, we'll talk to Josh Ward about everything Vols, about the atmosphere we'll experience this weekend, and get his thoughts. Who is the second best team in the country? Josh Ward, WNML, the sports animal, always worth your time. He's next here on 104.5 The Zone.
Coming up today with Buck Rising.
Thursday means we'll get you ready for Thirsty Thursdays, but also a full preview of the Vols hosting Ole Miss. Former Tennessee quarterback Jonathan Crompton and Lane Kiffin, acolyte, will join us, and we will break down what Tennessee is doing and what Lane Kiffin is going to try to do on Rocky Top this Saturday.
The Buck Rising Show. Today, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on 104.5 The Zone.
It's JMart. You deserve all the comforts of home. That means absolutely everything, including endless hot water at your fingertips. When you have to sit there and wait for the water to heat up, especially as we're getting a little bit closer to some cooler temperatures, it's just not fun. Waiting on the shower for 3 minutes. If you need some kind of hot water out of the sink, it takes forever. But it doesn't if you got tankless water heaters. Powered by new recirculation systems to help you save energy, save money, save time, and save space. These things are life-changing, game-changing in your home. And Lee Company, they're life-changing, game-changing all the time. They have a limited time offer right now that I want to tell you about. $500 off or special financing on a tankless water heater. If you've never thought about it before, if you thought about it and thought, that's a bit of a costly price, $500 off. You've never had a better chance than to do it right now. Or special financing on a tankless water heater. Do not miss out on this great deal. I promise it will be a great decision. Call Lee Company today. My friends there at 615-567-1000, 615-567-1000 for Lee Company. 615-567-1000 or online at leecompany.com.
Some things are just true. Like Geico makes it easy to save on boat insurance. And also, when you're calling it to work from your boat, it's kind of hard to hide it.
Hey, Carl. Yeah, I just stepped out for lunch, but I'll be working on those reports all day. That sound? Oh, that's just me washing my hands. Bye.
Switch to Geico, and you could save hundreds on boat insurance. It's
I'm Christy O'Brien with traffic on your home for Titans football, 104.5 The Zone.
Turn down for what? Turn down for what? Turn down for what?
Or is it third down for what? JMart and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone. We're powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors in Nashville. All4seasonsgarages.com/Nashville. It's 11-year NFL veteran involved for life, Ramon Foster. 0-year NFL veteran combined, Jonathan Schaefer and Jason Martin. At Ramon Foster, at Schaefer on Sports, at JMart Radio, at JMart and Ramon. Question of the day, and just a ton of response to this. I did this at 6 p.m. years ago because I've always been fascinated by it, maybe because I've always been, quote, guilty, unquote, of it, is surrogate teams.
Mm-hmm.
Who's your surrogate team? When your team's not involved, who do you, or just you kind of watch from a distance and you kind of hope they do well. And this comes on the heels of the Kraken nickname and logo selling me so much that, like, yeah, I'm a Penguins fan, but I'm also going to hope that the Kraken do well, and I may or may not already own merch. Actually, you can take the may not out of the equation. We welcome in our friend Josh Ward, WNML, the sports animal, of course. Josh, what's going on?
Hey, good morning. Big week here in Knoxville.
Yeah, a little bit. We've decided we're actually going to go there. We're going to be at Calhoun's broadcasting before the game.
That's what I hear.
Checker kneeling. That looks like it's going to be a thing. I went to the website yesterday to make sure that the proper color was going to happen because I joked and said I was going to wear crimson. And my wife immediately said, "You will not be the red dot in the shot from above." So it looks like what? It's going to be a sellout. Lane's back in town. It's got to be fun in that city even right now.
Yeah, Knoxville is buzzing right now, and it's different from just a couple of weeks ago with what the conversation was and the excitement. But this week is what it's all about. I mean, you have an abundance of storylines because of Lane Kiffin coming back to town. You don't typically get that, but just the way Tennessee's offense has played the last couple of weeks, Tennessee football looking like it's improving and looking like it's heading in the right direction, a top 15 team coming in. Fans have obviously bought in. So Checker Neyland has always been a big hit, whether Tennessee won or lost the game. They did get that win against Florida in 2016 doing it. But the alternate uniforms last week were a hit. The offense is putting up points. Fans are having fun again, and it's been a while. You know, that's part of it. This offense is something that they're enjoying watching. Then the games start to matter a little bit more, and Knoxville is about to take off. So this week's been a blast so far, and I know it will be over the next few days.
So obviously you have to look at the schedule and say, yeah, they've won back-to-back SEC games and look good doing so. They boat raced Missouri. That defensive performance was atrocious. Then they made South Carolina look bad, and I don't think South Carolina's good, but Tennessee definitely exploited them and made them look bad last week. Now you're looking at a team that you know can score. Just had a 52-51 game with Arkansas, and maybe you're ahead of schedule a little bit if you're Tennessee, but I do think that at least our audience, you can tell me how your audience is responding to it. Our folks that are calling in and commenting to us do seem to be pretty optimistic here. Like they think that Tennessee can play with them because of the way Ole Miss's defense plays and the way Tennessee's defense has kept some teams honest in the last few weeks.
Yeah, and I agree with what you said there. Like, Missouri's defense is atrocious. It has been to this point, but Tennessee's offense took complete advantage. And then against South Carolina, defensively, I don't think South Carolina is awful, but they looked awful early against Tennessee. So the Vols took it to them. So credit still goes to Tennessee for taking advantage of the opportunity. The opportunity should be there against this Ole Miss defense. Running the ball, again, is going to be important. Good thing for Tennessee is Josh Heupel likes to run the ball a lot. And the health of the running backs will be a topic going into the game for sure. But there are definitely opportunities here. Now, Tennessee's defense, as impressive as it has been and as much credit as they deserve, there are some games where you go in with pretty low expectations because of the opponent. I think this is one of those games. Against Florida's offense, Tennessee's defense had some problems. I don't think that's an insult to Tennessee's defense. I think that's because Dan Mullen knows how to run the football with that offense this year. Pittsburgh, we've seen to this point, their offense has been really good. They found their groove in the middle of that first half against Tennessee. My guess is that Ole Miss is going to be able to find some offensive success. I don't think that's a bold take going in here, but can Tennessee force some takeaways in that Florida game? Remember, Alontae Taylor had the strip fumble that he was able to cause before the end of the first half. That could have been a difference maker in the game if Tennessee been able to do some things better in the second half. This is that kind of game where if you can, you're going to give up yards, you're going to give up points. You just have to expect that against Lane Kiffin, Matt Corral, and that offense. But can you force some mistakes? Can you force a couple of interceptions or take the ball away to swing momentum or just the game back in your direction. I think that's the goal. You have to accept that Ole Miss is going to score. Ole Miss knows that Tennessee's probably going to score in this game. So the difference-making plays, I think, will matter the most by the end of it.
Looking back over Josh Heupel's career, one thing I noticed, and I was just like, there's no emotions in this game. They don't know each other, and this will be fine. They're removed from each other. No, I'm wrong. Heupel has seen Lane 2 times at FAU and UCF. He got him the 2 times, and you got to think, of course, Lane wants to win this game because why? Tennessee fans either love and hate him. There's a lot of hate, a little bit of love too. With that being said, he kind of boat raced him the couple times he's played against. I'm not saying he's got an edge over him because Ole Miss got a good roster, and I don't think he had that at FAU. So how do you kind of see this little back and forth they've had going Saturday?
Yeah, I do think that's worth noting. I've thought about it this week, and just that these two coaches know each other, and there is a bit of a mirror aspect in terms of probably what they like to do offensively, their mindset, their idea of let's attack on offense and let's go, and we're going to go for it on 4th down, and we're going to be aggressive. There's going to be a lot of that. It is a more even matchup when it comes to the rosters for sure than it was UCF versus FAU. So we have to be careful looking at those results and deciding what's going to happen this week. But I guess it's arguable just overall talent. There are arguments in favor of Tennessee even versus Ole Miss. Now, developed talent, that ends up being a different conversation. I think it's a good quarterback battle. I know they don't go up against one another, but this is a big opportunity for both Matt Corral and Hendon Hooker, who's been really good for Tennessee the last few weeks since taking over the starting position. So I'd be surprised if either coach is really surprised by what the other tries to do on Saturday. So then it comes down to what coaches are going to talk about. It's going to come down to execution, limiting the mistakes, and hitting big plays. They're both going to try to hit some big splash plays. Both coaches, I'm sure, are thinking, hey, we can figure out ways to run the football. I think Tennessee should be more confident in that because of Tennessee's defensive success overall in stopping the run. But it's not going to be easy for either side. So I'd be surprised if there are too many moves that are made that surprises either coach. It's about who can be more successful in what either one wants to do, which is, again, going to be pretty similar.
So you know my feelings about UT, of course. But let me play the other side for a little bit because I've learned to be a whole lot more humble about the Vols and, how toxic we can be. Winning, we know what that'll do for this university. But if they drop this game Saturday, where does that put Heupel? Where does that put this team? Where does that put the optimism moving forward?
Well, it would be disappointing, but I think that's a good thing. I was trying to say earlier in the year, like if Tennessee were to go to Florida and get blown out, it's okay to be disappointed. That doesn't mean you have to start burning mattresses like Kiffin's leaving town. You don't have to do that. But don't you kind of want some disappointment to be there if the result doesn't go your way? You just have to pick yourself back up. So let's see how it goes. If it's a close game, think about that Oklahoma game in 2015. Yeah. Oklahoma is a really good team, big-time program, of course. That was a great atmosphere. There's a Checker Neyland atmosphere. Oklahoma wins in the end, but that didn't take away from the atmosphere, what Tennessee was then able to continue selling on the recruiting trail, and that's part of this conversation. So you can have the short-term aspect. Hey, Tennessee, if it wins, it gets to 5-2, and it has a chance to go win 7 or 8 games this season. If Tennessee wins this weekend, that would be a big deal to me in year one with Josh Heupel, with everything that's gone on. It would be a big deal to the fans. But yeah, you're thinking long-term. So you're going to get some recruits on campus. They're going to see the atmosphere, and I really don't think they're going to think too much about what the outcome of the game is. If you win, great, you can sell that. But if the place is rocking, fans, the recruits are going to see that from the fans. They're going to see the way that the players have bought into Josh Heupel. So long-term, I don't think the result Saturday changes much. If you win, celebrate that. Celebrate the win. Celebrate beating Lane Kiffin, and then see what you can do next. Because the schedule's still tough. Alabama's going to be tough. Kentucky's going to be tough. Georgia's going to be tough. But if I told you you have a real shot at 7 wins at the beginning of the season, a lot of people are saying, sign me up. Give me that shot, and you have it this Saturday.
Speaking of just selling stuff, you got 2 number ones walking into Neyland on Saturday. The class of 2024 number 1 overall prospect and the class of 2022 number 1 overall prospect. How did they get to this point? Again, I know Tennessee is Tennessee, but you wouldn't expect the team to be able to do this. This staff is either overselling, lying to these kids, or are they, getting what they want out of what UT can potentially do?
Ramon, coaches don't lie or oversell in recruiting from everything I've heard. No, I think they've done a good job to this point of establishing relationships, trying to build. We hear good things even through the state of Tennessee, as in this 2022 class, guys have committed elsewhere. I don't think the results in terms of commitments have gone exactly the way the staff hoped. But think about the beginning of the process. Walter Nolan, that top prospect who's now in Knoxville at Powell High School, top defensive lineman in the country, he didn't have Tennessee on his list. He was going 8-10 deep, and Tennessee didn't make it.
Right.
And then you get down to top 5 and top 3, and Tennessee's there. So that's an example, I think, of relationships being established and then developed. And then in the future, I think prospects are able to take a longer term view because they have more time to make a decision. So why not check out Tennessee? Now Tennessee has something to sell on the field. You put up 62 points, even if the Missouri defense is terrible, you see 62 points, that's going to impress prospects. And back-to-back first quarters of 28 points in the SEC, that's something to tell recruits that it's real, as opposed to in the summer, you're battling this NCAA conversation, you're battling where Tennessee's program has been, and you're promising something that hasn't actually existed yet on the field. Now you have something. So that's why you get them to town this weekend. I think the goal has been last weekend, definitely this weekend, with the expectation of a night game against Ole Miss. Get them to town. Let them see what this atmosphere will be. Some will be official, some unofficial. You can get those guys to come back again. So that's why I think, win or lose Saturday, you have something very real that recruits can see for themselves, that you've been telling them about. They're going to think about it. They're going to remember it, and they're probably going to come back. And ultimately, I don't know that it's Monday, but in the next couple of months or in the next 12 months, if we're talking about future prospects like you mentioned, some of those guys are going to hop on board. You eventually have to have the results. You got to send guys to the league. You need to win in the SEC. And that's why if you win, hey, sell that too. But I think it's more about what you're trying to establish, what you're trying to build, and you actually have a chance to show them this weekend.
How many points wins this game, Josh? When you look at a lot of times, shootouts don't turn out to be shootouts. The old deal is like you talk about, it's going to be first to 100, and then by the second quarter, the announcers are like, well, we didn't expect this. It's the defenses that are dominating this game. But how many points do you think wins this game, and who wins this game?
Yeah, part of my my joke during the offseason, it was kind of joking, kind of not, was I don't know what's going to happen when Ole Miss and Tennessee play in October, but I'm just going to blindly take the over. And then the number came out this week, and it's 79, 80, I think up to 82. I'm like, that's a lot of points, even if I know what these offenses can do, because you can have that nervous energy. It just takes a couple of drives to stall out or a couple of turnovers. So I don't know. I think if you get to 40, you have a really good chance. You get to 30, I don't know that you should feel that confident. So yeah, I'm seeing the projected numbers, simulations out there, and they've got lower points than I think anybody's really expecting. But you get to, are we going to get the Ole Miss Arkansas 52-51? That's just always difficult to predict. I won't be surprised because I know what they're capable of, but I think it's somewhere in the middle. I think we'll see maybe some nervous energy early. I don't think Tennessee's going 3 straight weeks with 28 points in the first quarter. If they do, then things really will be rolling in Knoxville. But I'd say if you get to 40, you have a really good chance to win this game.
So our kind of backup question is surrogate teams. I don't know who you root for, Josh, but do you have a team that you don't necessarily like? You have a team, but you also have another team that you kind of like that's out there. So you got to tell me first your rooting interest, and then if you have like a surrogate team where you're like, I'm always kind of happy to see them do well.
I don't do a lot of that. I'm a Raiders fan in the NFL. I don't know if you guys know that. So it's been a bit of a week.
I'm a Broncos fan. So yeah, it has not been a great week for you.
Yeah, but you know what? It's been a couple of decades too. So Tennessee fans and Raiders fans, they actually have a lot in common. Great history and not a lot of great recent success. Braves fan though, so that's a lot of fun heading to the NLCS. So I don't really have a surrogate team. I have in-laws with fandom living in different parts of the country, but I struggle to get behind them. I'm more like I take the David Putty approach. So I support the team. So I'm not necessarily painting my face or my chest, but I get behind my team and I'll stick with them.
Okay. Josh, I got to bring this up real quick. Like as far as my favorite team. So one of my favorite teams is BMW. Okay. But Lexus of Knoxville, the way they put an APB out on Lane Kiffin to pay their money back, I'm a fan of them now.
What about Ford? Anyway.
No, it's my joke about the Lexus wanting their money back from Lane.
Yeah, Lexus.
Are they going to serve him papers?
Did something happen with Lane? Can you guys catch me up?
Yeah.
So Lexus of Knoxville tweeted him and said, "Hey, we want our money back."
He knows.
Oh.
Yeah, and we're doing that this week too. We're doing a lot of revisiting from 2009, and there are still stories that are there. They're behind the scenes that could be dug up. But the night he left, that's the favorite one. New Sentinel has a story today on that wild press conference night. But people are coming out. They've been waiting on this. It was one thing when he came back as the offensive coordinator at Alabama, but he was the OC. And what chance did you have against Bama? Now you have your chance for your revenge. The players in this game on both sides, what do they care about it? But the fans, the people that have all the history, the VFLs, I would say that this is the week you've been pointing to finally get the revenge against Lane Kiffin.
Josh, always a pleasure, brother. We're looking forward to getting to Knoxville. It's going to be fun this weekend.
You got it. Thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah, that's Josh Ward. Josh_Ward. We can find him on Twitter. Moan was just using that to make the Lexus reference, just so you know. He wanted to get to that Lexus in Knoxville dig because anytime Lane Kiffin's getting dragged, you're probably a fan of it.
And they added him.
By the way, 4 years ago when Pruitt was hired, I was on air saying I felt like Lane, if he wanted to come back, you should let him come back.
Then,
because he had changed. I felt like he had matured in a lot of ways from the experience that had happened. Plus, you knew he could succeed.
Has he changed that for you, Heupel?
It's too early to see whether or not. I like what Heupel is doing right now. But before the last coaching search, I was just like, get over yourselves. If Lane Kiffin wants to come back, you should really give that serious consideration. I know how much you hate him, but it's been a long time since a rock and roll.
Without a dope beat to step to.
Okay. 615-737-1045 is the telephone number. I'm disappointed in birthdays because I think they're too easy today.
Yes!
I just think they're too easy.
So we need to complicate them?
I need to figure out a way to make them impossible.
You can't pick anybody from like 1921.
Oh, sure I can. I can pick anything I want. You would think I'd be listening to you. But we'll do some birthdays. We'll make it fun. Plus, just a ton of comments coming in on the surrogate thing. Josh didn't want to reveal his. I know he's got one.
You know he does.
He just wants to say, oh no, I support the team.
Come on, Josh.
He's got merch somewhere in the house. It's not his squad. And he's a Raiders fan. Good Lord. Oh, we'll be right back. JMart. Yeah, for real. JMart and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone.
The Vols welcome Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin back to Neyland Stadium for a mid-October SEC primetime game. Coverage starts Saturday at 3 on your home for the Vols and most SEC. 104.5 The Zone.
It's JMart. I want to tell you about United Structural Systems. If you got a wet basement or crawl space, give them a call. Do it right now. It's a smart decision. That wet basement, that crawl space, let me just tell you, the air you're breathing's no good. What it can do to your home, no good. It's not something that fixes itself magically. There's no Harry Potter here. The closest thing to Hogwarts is United Structural Systems. I've been telling you about these guys for a long time. Since 94, they've been doing it right here in our backyard, helping our community, being a wonderful partner in our community. Over 20,000 satisfied residential customers and counting. They are the go-to company when it comes to foundation repair and waterproofing. You don't really know why this is happening with the wet basement or the crawl space. It might be poor drainage. Maybe it's a plumbing leak. Maybe it's water flooding over your walls or underwater pressure forcing water into your basement. They're going to tell you. The way USS works is they come out, they diagnose the problem, they give you a free estimate. They tell you exactly what it's going to cost, what needs to be done. And then if you say get to work, that's what they do. They finish the job before you have to pay. It's not a 30% here and a 30% here. No, you pay all at the very, very end. They make sure you're satisfied before you have to pay a cent. So you got nothing to lose and a ton to gain for your home. Call for that free estimate. Find out how much it's going to cost to fix from the people I trust. And you tell them JMart said, I can trust you. Here's your telephone number, 615-227-2275. That's 227-2275 or online at ussTN.com. United Structural Systems.
Some things are just true. Like Geico makes it easy to save on boat insurance. And also, when people get seasick, they always pretend to be fine.
It's kind of rough out here. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Never better. Doing great. Everything's cool. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Switch to Geico, and you could save hundreds on boat insurance. It's just true.
To the nurses on the front lines, the ones who understand that taking care of one person means taking care of an entire family, and the ones who show us that heroes
And Brentwood, Old Hickory Boulevard westbound at Edmondson Pike is blocked. Watch for stop-and-go traffic from Woodland Hills Drive. This report brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. COVID hospitalizations of young people have tripled since the start of summer. So talk to your doctor if you've got vaccine questions. We can do this. Find vaccines near you at vaccines.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. I'm Christy O'Brien with traffic on your home for Titans football. 1045 The Zone.
Hello, Hootie and Blowfish. Saw them play in Chapel Hill outside and on campus at North Carolina back in '98. Band that was on the double bill with them was Toad the Wet Sprocket. Saw them at City Winery a couple days ago.
I don't think Darius was happy with the South Carolina result last week.
Nah, probably not. Probably not. Credit to Darius Rucker. First off, like, Hootie had a great career, and I really enjoyed their music a lot. Him transitioning to country has worked out way better than you would have thought it might have.
He's a great writer.
He's just really talented. Great sports fan. Just a good dude all around.
I had a chance to meet the guy once, work on a project with him. Nice dude.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I'd love to meet him.
Flex. Ooh, flex.
Yeah, thanks for that. All right, time for birthdays.
Let's do this.
Jared Goff is 27 today, of course.
He's only 27?
Yeah. I mean, he hadn't been in the league that long, Moan.
Felt like it, yeah.
Actually, that was older than I thought.
Is it?
Ones we don't have time for today, unfortunately. Usher Raymond is 43.
Product of Chattanooga.
Jay Farrow is 34.
Love Jay Farrow.
Jay Farrow played a prank on me when I was in that very booth. Schaefer.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I remember
Came
that.
in and did a hit with 92Q before performing at Zany's, then came in and just took the audio board from me in the middle of something and started messing with me.
Did he?
Yeah, never met him before. No, obviously I knew who he was. He's a funny guy.
Probably
we all mess with you.
Remember that moment either. It's
Not
crazy.
wrong. Everybody's forever trying to mess with me.
Everybody hates Chris.
Justin Forsett also 36 today. Brandon Whedon is 38.
Hey, yo, Brandon Whedon.
I like you to start laughing about the guy. There's not really any reason for it other than like,
I bet he's
remember that guy?
He may be a nice guy, but Brandon Whedon.
One day we're just going to sit around and just start naming guys that do that to you every time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Just a bunch of random dudes. Who would be the other guy on that list?
Spurgeon Wynn.
Yes, but who would be the other guy? Hey, man, Cleo Lemon.
Cleo Lemon.
Cleo Lemon.
Wow.
Just a bunch of random names.
Boomhauer.
Oh, basically all the Chicago Bears quarterbacks after Jim McMahon.
Put Cleveland.
We're not doing that today.
I like how they're all just quarterbacks.
Yeah. All those rat names.
Nobody else. All right. I tried to make this difficult.
It might still
Shouldn't
be.
you try to make it easy?
Nope.
Hey.
Natalie Maines is 47.
I know who that is.
Natalie Maines.
Not a chance.
League of Their Own?
I like that guess, though. I like it. I like it.
Matrix?
I like that one.
Natalie Maines, one of the women in the Dixie Chicks.
Oh,
Nope. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Schaefer, you're going to love this. Lori Petty is 58.
Lori Petty?
Get out. Lori Petty's 58.
No, it's going to be funnier to you in a minute.
League of Their Own?
Yep.
Ha! I felt like you would double back to one I knew. I don't know why, because he's done this move before.
Jason nailed that.
He
That was
did
great.
this move before.
I don't know what was better, Ramon guessing it or Jason setting it up.
Yeah. Primo felt right. That was good.
Well done. Well done seeing through what I was doing there.
Tank Girl.
But Tank Girl. Arlene Sorkin is 66.
Arlene Sorkin, Little House on the Prairie. Let's go with
I didn't expect Little House on the Prairie.
Little House on the Prairie, 66. Let's go Gone with the Wind.
Good. What are we doing?
She wouldn't even be alive, I don't think.
What are we doing?
I know.
Arlene Sorkin.
1930.
Arlene Sorkin's in Days of Our Lives. She's done a lot of different stuff through the years.
Soap
She's like a
opera.
comedy-ish actress that
Okay.
also did a little bit of soap opera stuff. She used to be on like Hollywood Squares all the time.
God, I need to start
She was
saying
always
that.
a panelist on that kind of show. One of those names. Stacy Keibler, 42.
Wrestler.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's accurate.
also, she was on
She
Dancing
is a
with the
wrestler.
Stars.
Yeah, Dancing with the Stars.
Dancing
That's
with
right.
the
Hey.
Stars. Okay.
Gucci.
Two today.
I figured you would get that, but who did she date for a long time?
Who did she date? Shawn Michaels.
No.
Lamar Jackson.
She did start her career as a Ravens cheerleader.
Did she really?
That was the first thing she ever did professionally.
I didn't know that.
I was close then.
Not really.
George Clooney is the answer.
George Clooney? Who hasn't he dated?
Well, I mean, she nearly married him.
Did she?
Yeah. He's been married for a while now. Clooney has, but
He's got an awesome tequila, by the way.
Okay.
She's not fit. No, Lori Petty's 58. G from T-Town. Stacey Keebler is not 58. She's 42.
Yeah, no, he put that in there before.
Just like I'm 42 now.
You are 42?
Yeah.
All right.
Greg Evigan is 68.
Greg Evigan?
Boy, you're sitting back like, look at me. I'm all proud of myself.
The Matrix?
No, stop going to the same thing. It worked
that
once. It's not going to work
right.
again. No, it does not.
Yes,
not
it
even
did.
close.
Steve Evigan?
Greg Evigan.
Greg Evigan?
You got a real chance at this one.
Heck no. Let's go
Jehoshaphat Evigan? No.
Was he a movie producer? Was he a wrestler? I don't know. Who?
Nikolai Volkov, by the way. Also, it would have been his birthday today.
Oh, okay.
Harry Potter.
No. Greg Evigan was in BJ and the Bear, but that's not why I care.
BJ and the Bear. Wow.
He was in a show that was called My Two Dads.
Okay.
He was the other dad. It was Paul Reiser
All right.
and him.
I mean, none of us knew that, but okay.
Dick Butkus was in that show.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he was.
A young blonde actress named Stacey Keenan, who would then go on to do a show called Step by Step, amidst other things in her life. Greg Evigan, baby. My Two Dads, Mo.
TGIF ABC on that.
So lost.
I knew I'd get you with that one.
Yeah.
So you got two.
I got
That's
two.
good.
That's a solid day.
It wasn't a great birthdays day. It was there was way too much that was going to be easy. I could have made this even easier on you, but why in the world?
I should have got
We do that. It is Scout Meeting Thursday because of the Monday Night Football game. We'll jump into some of the headlines and look at the Bills a little bit closer. Coach Mack will join us.
Mack attack.
About 25 minutes from right now. We'll get into everything Bills then. Fourth hour of the show straight ahead. JMart and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone.
How does it feel? The 3HL with Brent Doherty, Don Davenport, and Ron Slay, giving you the sports you crave on your drive home and having fun doing it.
Make a little noise for 3HL.
Today, starting at 3 on 104.5 The Zone.
This is Boomer Esiason with the CBS Sports Minute. By virtue of being the NFL's only 5-0 team, Arizona remains atop my power rankings, despite the league-wide buzz about Buffalo. After Josh Allen and company steamrolled the Chiefs, the number 3 Rams rebounded nicely, and Tom Brady's Bucks, well, they seem unstoppable again. And how about the Cowboys' Dak and Diggs show? Green Bay, the Chargers, Cleveland, Baltimore with Lamar Jackson playing his best football all of a sudden, and the aforementioned Kansas City round out this week's top 10, and the 2-3 Chiefs need to wake up, and they need to wake up soon. As for the Feeble 5, rookie Davis Mills showed remarkable improvement for number 28 Houston. 29th place Detroit keeps losing, but at least they're in games. The same may no longer be true for the Giants, whose injury toll continues to mount. And with the Jets always playing from behind, Gangrene's view never changes, whether at home or abroad. Finally, the Jags, well, they can't stop anybody, and their coach tried to get out of Dodge. I'm Boomer Esiason.
CBS Sports Radio.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. Dashboard light problems? We can help. Our free Fix Finder service can read your check engine light, ABS light, and service indicator light, and give you possible solutions, verified by licensed technicians. You'll even get detailed results sent straight to your email so you have them when you need it most. It's the most complete free warning light report backed by technician-verified fixes. The free Fix Finder service, only at AutoZone.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
More details at AutoZone.com.
Oh, according to research, 82% of people will remember radio ads. So, 82% of you listening will remember that this is an ad for ZipRecruiter. 82% of you will note that if you're hiring, ZipRecruiter finds qualified people for your job. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And 82% of you will remember that you can try ZipRecruiter for free, but you have to go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Yes, free. Again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Will Bowling back with you. NFL Week 6 is here, and FanDuel Sportsbook wants you to get the most out of every play. That's why they're giving everyone a $10 risk-free bet every
To 440 westbound, we've got a crash partially blocking the right lane. Watch for stop-and-go traffic from Harding Place. Brentwood, Old Hickory Boulevard westbound at Edmondson Pike is blocked. Traffic stop-and-go from Woodland Hills Drive. No problems coming in on 65 or 40. No unusual delays on 440, 840 running accident-free. This report brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook. The goblet has dropped. Download Caesars Sportsbook and get started with a risk-free bet of up to $5,000. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 and up. I'm Christy O'Brien with traffic on your home for Titans football. 104.5 The Zone.
From the WinBet studio, win with WinBet. WGFX Gallatin, Nashville.
A Cumulus media station.
The Titans and the Bills. Kickoff is Monday night at 7:15 on your home for Titans football. Trending now at 104.5 The Zone.
It is 9:01. Good morning. I'm Jonathan Shea for the Nashville Predators, painting the town tonight. Season opener this evening at Bridgestone Arena, taking on the league's newest team, the Seattle Kraken. Puck drop set for 7 o'clock. Preds have signed defenseman Matthias Ekholm to a 4-year, $25 million contract extension. That keeps him under contract through the 2025-26 season. Titans officially signed linebacker Avery Williamson to the active roster. He previously played for the Titans from 2014 through 2017. Meanwhile, safety Amani Hooker has returned to practice but remains on IR. Titans preparing for the Bills. Monday Night Football coming up at Nissan Stadium. Back on the practice field yesterday, Julio Jones not played the past 2 games because of a hamstring injury. Bud Dupree back on the practice field as well. He's missed the last 3 games, still recovering from his ACL knee surgery. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Everybody's attention now.
Now it's time for Jason Martin and Ball for Life Ramon Foster.
Powered by all 4 Seasons Garage Doors.
Together, they are JMart and Ramon on 104.5 The Zone.
What's happening? 4th hour, hashtag fastest 4 hours in radio is upon you. It's upon us. We're blessed to bring it to you courtesy of all 4 Seasons Garage Doors in Nashville. By we, I mean the crew here at JMart and Ramon. 11-year NFL veteran involved for life, Ramon Foster, Jonathan Schaefer, Jason Martin. At Ramon Foster, at Schaefer on Sports, at JMart Radio, at JMart and Ramon. Coach Mack will join us. Dave McGinnis, Titans Radio. Pop in.
Yes!
In the next segment, talk to him about the Bills. Talk to you about the Bills here as well. Surrogate team. What's the team that you cheer for when yours isn't involved? Or, obviously you're a Preds fan, but you're also looking at another team and you kind of hope that they're doing well. Kind of watch them from afar. You're like, if I wasn't a fan of this team, I bet you I'd be a fan of theirs. And maybe I kind of already am. Mm-hmm. Except when they're playing against the Titans, for example.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And a lot of really good responses. I'm going to read some of those here in a second. A couple birthdays I missed. As you look through the list of sports birthdays, a lot of times it's really lengthy. Yeah. And there were a lot of football birthdays today. I'm talking in the 100 range. And a lot of them are not like household names. Mm-hmm. And so you kind of start looking at them. It just looks like a wall of text. But a few that we missed that I definitely want to mention. Frank Wycheck is 50 today.
The Music City Musical. Happy half 100. That's pretty cool.
So happy birthday to Frank. Born in 1971. Always have a special place in Titans fans' hearts.
Yes, sir.
And it was cool to have him around for a while and just to get to know him a little bit. Jerry Glanville is 80. A little bit of a tie as well. Houston and Atlanta. Mm-hmm. Jerry Glanville, 80 years old.
80?
People get older, man. Like every year, people get older.
You don't say.
Thanks, Mr. Obvious.
Captain Obvious.
Javon Walker's birthday also today. There's names that are now popping out to me. I'm like, oh, yeah, that guy. I saw Zach Wilson is 42, and I almost lost it. And then I realized, oh, there's another Zach Wilson.
Yeah, not the same.
Not that one.
Unless he was playing in the Little League World Series for, like, Panama, and he was actually 26 pitching on the mound.
Let's not act like that hadn't happened.
I'm serious.
Yeah, no.
You mean how, like, RJ's 12 going on 21?
That's what they think.
Do you carry his birth certificate around everywhere?
Yeah, we have to.
You should, like a Vax card. You carry that thing around to make sure everybody knows who you are.
Yeah,
and that it's legit. Hey, Vols fans, we're headed to Knoxville this weekend. We're going to be hanging out at Calhoun's before the game, popping on with Will and Ron as part of the tailgate show experience. But we have been planning to make this trip for months now. It's going to be your chance to come hang with us. I don't know exactly where we will, like how it's going to look from time to time. I know it's not going to look like a Mercedes van.
Nah.
Because you sold our sin bin, Ramon.
I did.
We only got to tailgate with that thing one time, and it was in like a giant rainstorm, and we just hung out by ourselves.
We were comfortable as heck in there, weren't we?
Did they blacklight that thing?
No question. Yeah, seriously. Ron Slade was in there multiple times.
Whoa. That dead end barbecue that was in there.
It's good. Burn ends.
Burn ends. Oh, my.
Maybe
Absolutely
the best
fantastic.
I've ever had.
But you want to join us, Will Bowling, Ron Slay, as we broadcast live from Calhoun's on the River, 3 to 5 here. But obviously, if you're joining us in person, it's going to be 4 to 6 Eastern time. Special edition of the Tennessee Tailgate Show. You can pregame with us before the game. Then we're all going to head in and hopefully watch a classic. It's definitely going to be a classic atmosphere. Yes. It's going to be fantastic.
You'll have your red sweatshirt?
Red hooded sweatshirt?
Underneath it, yeah. I guarantee you'll have on something red somewhere. You might wear red pants to this game, huh, Jay?
I might.
Forget your wallet at the Loves in Lenore City.
I need to get a chain wallet for the weekend.
Oh, please don't.
So make sure that doesn't happen.
Oh,
yeah, please don't.
I've never had one before. I don't know why that would change.
Now? What are you doing?
I know. Who are you? This game this weekend is first night game with the new LED lights. So that's going to be a thing. A lot of high prospects in the building. We're going to be in the building. Everybody's going to be there. It's going to be interesting to see what the ratings will look like for this type of game. Who else has the headliner for the night this weekend for college football?
Is this the most important game of their season?
No.
Depends upon how you look at it.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going through a really tough 4-game stretch starting with this game.
Yeah.
You want to get off to a good start. I think it's more just
– I think because of the hype, that might make it the most important.
I think what you don't want to do is just get destroyed in this game. You don't want this to be Ole Miss, Alabama, Georgia, Arkansas from last week.
Right.
You want to perform really well, have an opportunity to win it, and still feel like, yeah, man, we're definitely taking steps in the right direction. Because I think that's what Ole Miss fans felt like last year.
Yeah.
When they were losing a lot of games, but they were losing them in interesting fashion. You just want to see some progress. Obviously, you want to see a win if you're a Tennessee fan. I'm not saying that. I am saying that it would be much better as long as you perform well in this game. You don't want to look like you don't belong on the field with that team.
Yeah, and that's what you're asking for. I think the overall record is what we're looking for. But as far as big games, Jay fans, like this one is, as far as the late slot, it's Tennessee, Ole Miss, 6:30. You got NC State, Boston College. Watching that conference doesn't do it for me. Kansas State, Iowa, Stanford, Washington. So it's not a whole lot of marquee games.
Yeah, I mean, the marquee game is Kentucky, Georgia earlier in the day.
Yes. Yeah. I'd say this too, the Mississippi State, Alabama. We got to see at least
sneaky marquee game is Cincinnati, Central Florida.
Agreed.
Yeah.
You might want to watch that one real close.
Yeah, very much so.
And TCU might play Oklahoma tough.
And you said Georgia, Kentucky, right, Shafe?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It's either going to be really good or it's going to be really not good.
The Georgia, Kentucky, yeah.
Like, I think Kentucky's good. I don't know if they're Georgia good, but we've seen weirder things happen.
See.
I'm curious to points scored because of the defense.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I absolutely want to see that for both sides. One guy, by the way, we always have this mention. I'm just going to say it out loud because I know people are listening. They can hear us now. We always get, hey, man, no sound. When you're in a commercial break, there's never going to be sound.
Yeah.
Just know, that doesn't mean I'm not.
I actually haven't screwed that up today.
It's not like a, hey, no offense, but it's just know that going forward, when we go to commercial break, you're not going to hear sound. But so don't freak out when you know we're in the midst of a commercial break. That's why you're not hearing it. It'll be back when we come back. That's just the way it has to be done. Surrogate teams. Some of the best ones that we're getting right now. John Finkel, who wrote the 1996 book, who we had on the air, he kindly sent me a copy of that. It's really good. Says, I'm all Boston, as you boys know, but since I was a kid, I've had a soft spot for the Bengals and Reds, Ickey Woods and Eric Davis forever. Soft spot's another good way to put it. It's just kind of like, yeah, you know what? It's cool that they're doing well, even though maybe they're not my squad per se. But that's, yeah, exactly. Soft spot's another way to do it. Jason says, I'll likely cheer for Atlanta in the NLCS. He doesn't mention who his team is, but obviously it's not the Braves. Ronnie Smith, I'm a lifetime Braves fan. I was a lifetime Yankees hater until this year. I went to see Titans Jets and was gifted tickets to a Yankees game in their suites, and now I'm a Yankees fan. I will root for them from now on. Does that mean you're not a Braves fan, or does it mean you're now also a Yankees fan? Which is
either way, right?
It's difficult for me. Aaron Stevens said something I think a lot of people probably feel. It's weird because I couldn't stand him in New England, but I find myself rooting for Tom Brady and the Bucks.
It's weird. A guy that's polarizing too that has that effect to me, I think KD. Like, I'm a KD fan. I know that a lot of people don't like that.
I used to be a huge one. And I love his game.
Yeah.
A lot of people say, hey, it's the Belichick effect. He got away from him. Multiple people agreed with that comment and said, yeah, Brady, I agree with that. Michael Jesus.
No one mess with the Jesus.
I somewhat root for the 49ers. Grew up watching Jerry Rice. He was always my favorite player. My dad was a Niners fan. As a Braves fan, I rooted for the Cubs as well. I think everybody that rooted for the Braves also didn't want the Cubs to lose 150 games a year. Yeah. Like, they were lovable losers. I became a Braves fan because of my parents, but they were not good at all when I became a fan. Dale Murphy will always be my favorite baseball player ever. Those teams were not good at all, but they were endearing. And I think Braves and Cubs looked at each other at that time like the Spider-Man meme.
Yeah.
They were just pointing at one another like, I know you.
You, me, you.
I know you.
Yeah. My underlying team was probably the Cowboys growing up. I say this in my professional career as far as like location. Since I live here, I was like, man, babe, if we end in Pittsburgh, I'll play for the Titans because we're at home now. That was something I said, like, we consider in the last free agency I had, like, if they called, I might consider it because it's home. I thought that was always cool, which is what Avery Williamson is doing right now, too.
Absolutely right. Lucas, not that Lucas. Lucas, Lukus. I don't have a backup NFL team, but in college, if UT isn't involved, kind of like see Michigan State do well in football and basketball.
Oh, yeah, I'm kind of okay with Michigan State.
I almost committed to Michigan State.
Really?
Yep. It was John L. Smith.
I was just going to ask who the head coach was at the time.
John L. Smith was the head coach, and he recruited me hard. You know what happened? It was a huge snowstorm in Michigan that weekend. I was supposed to go do my my official visit, so I ended up canceling the flight, and I ended up going to UT the next weekend because they were trying to reschedule. I committed right after UT.
That's interesting.
What happened?
That's interesting. Coach Mack will join us on the other side, and we'll get to more of these comments as well because there's just a ton of them. We got an awful lot of response to this question, which just makes me feel seen as my Kraken jersey is on the way. We'll be right back. It's JMart and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone.
Friday night, it's Riverdale at Oakland in the Battle of the Borough on the 104.5 The Zone Game of the Week. Presented by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office and Paul Winkler Investing. Coverage starts Friday night at 6:30 with Will Bowling and Lucas Panzica on your home for high school football. 104.5 The Zone.
Buying a car can be overwhelming, especially now that the demand is back in full swing. I'm here to tell you, Edmunds has been here taking the stress out of car shopping for over 50 years. Edmunds editors drive 500,000 miles every year, testing thousands of hours on hundreds of new vehicles. They review almost every car in the market and rank the best ones in each category. So you can narrow your search and compare options side by side to find the best vehicle for you. When you're ready, Edmunds makes it easy to find the options in your area with the accurate price estimate. And the thing about this editor, they're sort of like a team, okay? But the thing that they do, they will document and drive a vehicle over the course of 20,000 miles in the first year of ownership. They report all the things you need to know, the red flags, the routines, ins and outs that it needs, and everything else that you need to know. This editor team does a whole lot more too. They have an extensive testing and ranking process, yes, with cars, which considers performance, comfort, technology, fuel economy, and the value of those cars. And what if you're looking for something specific? Well, on Edmunds.com, they have filters that help you search for the color of the car, model, special features, engine types, drivetrain, price, distance, and more. They'll even show you dealerships that are offering home delivery. Edmunds is here to guide you to your perfect vehicle. Visit Edmunds.com to see the best car rankings and search for the vehicle near you. That's EDMUNDS.com. For cars, there's Edmunds.
Some things are just true. Like Geico makes it easy to save on boat insurance. And also, when you're calling into work from your boat, it's kinda hard to hide it.
Hey, Carl. Yeah, I just stepped out for lunch, but I'll be working on those reports all day. That sound? Oh, that's just me washing my hands. Bye.
Switch to Geico, and you could save hundreds on boat insurance. It's just true.
Hi, guys. It's Andrew with Hillside Medical Clinic. Are you struggling with erectile dysfunction and sick of the pills? Well, we have a major medical breakthrough. The WAVE technology at Hillside Medical Clinic was tested by Cambridge University and the Cleveland Clinic, and the results are in. It's proven to increase blood flow by repairing blood vessels. No pills and no side effects. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED by treating the root cause, call us now. And not only will the assessment and blood flow ultrasound be free, we'll also include something unique that produces powerful results in the bedroom. I don't think I've ever seen it fail. This is a $600 value, free to those that call in the next 2 minutes. 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Guys, put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and get your love life back. Call Hillside Medical Clinic now to qualify. 615-576-5000.
Your supersized automotive dealer.
Hi, I wanted to get some info about a car on your website. It said
I know just the one you're talking about. For the next 5 minutes, I can sell it half off. I'll need your social security, mother's maiden.
Not at Music City Autoplex. They never quote numbers over the phone. Instead, with multiple bankers on site, they're committed to finding you the best car and financing options. No gimmicks, no hard sell. Just smart people working for you. Get started at MusicCityAutoplex.com. That's MusicCityAutoplex.com.
Bring in this man, our pal from Titans Radio, the multi-talented, multifaceted, multilingual Texas native, Coach Mac. Dave McGinnis with us. What's going on, Coach?
JMart, thank you. That's a tremendous introduction. Let me say this. If you are in the broadcast business where they record things, here's what Shafe throws away. Nothing.
Yeah, if you say anything, he's got it.
He got it, Coach.
He's got it, and here's what I give him a lot of credit. I've heard him, when he pops those things in, I don't know how that board works in there. It looks like a spaceship to me, but he can pop it in right on time.
Phrasing?
Yes.
There we go.
We all had the same.
There we go.
This is what you've done. This is what you people have reduced me to.
Come on, Coach Mac.
I didn't even have to effort it. It was immediately into my brain.
He does it to you
Gutter.
guys. He does it to you guys too, right?
He does.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, he does, Coach.
Yes!
See?
So
I learned early.
Okay.
So the game is Monday.
Yes, it is.
The Bills are good, really good.
I think, JMart, in just film study, I don't care about rankings. I think they're one of the two best teams in the league right now. I'd talk about playing consistent football, playing complementary football one another, and I'm talking about health-wise. To me, they and Tampa right now are the two that are kind of in a zone right now. And when you start looking at the National Football League, I always have started to look at after week 4, week 5 to see who's still playing with their real guys. You know, who hasn't had the injury issue hit them in certain positions, and that to me, number one, is right across the top. And then they're just a very fundamentally solid, sound football team. All the way through, you know, and it starts with the players. It's always about the players in the National Football League. Don't ever forget that. But I think their coaches have been together now for a while, and they're pretty settled into the way they're going to play football games. I'm very impressed with them, just film study wise, very impressed.
So, I mean, it's obvious we sit here and talk about Josh Allen and how he's progressed and how last year certainly wasn't a fluke, seeing as how he's playing now. But one guy that we have spent a little bit of time talking about, Coach, it's not Stephon Diggs, it's Emmanuel Sanders. We know what Stephon Diggs can do, but Emmanuel Sanders felt like he was in the twilight of his career, and he's just given him and Dawson Knox, those two guys emerging on that offense, have really made them even more dangerous.
A legitimate point that you make. And here's what Emmanuel Sanders is. Emmanuel Sanders is a veteran, nuanced route runner. That's what he is. He understands. He understands how to set up. He understands how to find open places in the zone, and it takes a while to understand unless you're just supremely talented and you can just out muscle or outrun everybody. And outrun still doesn't help you a lot if you're not a little bit nuanced as far as the tree. But this guy understands how to do it, and I agree with you 100%. Dawson Knox is the same thing. We sat here and talked about Dawson Knox with you, JMart, you know, when he came out, because, you know, this guy was really off the charts physically. He's a local kid. He was off the charts physically at the combine, and he has developed. The tight end coach there is a guy named Rob Boris that I coached with at the Rams. Excellent tight end fundamental coach. He's developed some really nice tight ends in this league. He's done a nice job with Dawson Knox too.
Coach, I want to take you back into the team meeting room real quick, because we did scout meeting Thursday today, because we pushed it back a day because of the Monday night game. And one thing I used to always hate, but I loved it too, if you're right-minded, when coaches would talk up the team who you know is good, but they will overly let you know that they're good. How did you approach that as far as being a coach in those meetings, saying, hey, this team is number one here. They've blanked 2 NFL teams. They're hot. They're steaming. Did you try to nudge your guys a little bit more when you were facing a good opponent like that?
Well, I would point out what they're doing well.
Yeah.
You know, and I would always do that. Always in my team meetings, in the Wednesday morning team meeting with everybody, would let everybody on all 3 phases know where the strengths were on the football team. But at the same time, you know, they can see the tape.
Yeah.
They all see the tape. They all study the tape. And they know. And look, Ramon, you were a legitimate player in this league for a long time. You know players on other teams too.
Yeah.
You guys talk all the time. So you know who's playing well and who's doing what. So I never tried to blow it up at all, because, you know, I was always wanted my team to be very self-aware, not only of what you can do, but also of what your opponent is able to do. But if you're spending enough time in the film room, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, you know. You don't have to have a coach get up there and rah-rah and try to get you pumped up because these guys are really good.
Yeah.
I think that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, one guy that is really good, though, I know Jay said we're not going to get to him, but Josh Allen.
Not that we weren't going to get to him, just that.
Can I say this about Josh Allen?
Go ahead.
And this is a great, great lesson. And you've heard me say it before when we do the draft. This is a great lesson for all the IEs out there.
Yeah.
And IEs are instant evaluators. And what the thing about Josh Allen, pick too high, plays up there at Wyoming, strong arm, can throw it through the wind,
Lord,
but
man.
throws it
He
everywhere.
went from being like here to, oh my gosh, the Bills just made the worst decision we've ever seen in the NFL because he can't throw accurate 5 yards off the ball.
No. He can't hit a barn from 5 feet away. And everybody was, talking about that. He can throw it through the wall, but he can't hit the wall. I mean, all of that stuff was, and you sit there and you look and you go, really? Yeah. Because it takes a while to soak in this league at positions, and especially at that position. And here's the other thing about him. And then we'll get off of him if you want to. But here's what they've done with him. They've pared down a lot of things, but they've increased a lot of things too. This guy, they are running now purposeful. I'm not talking about off-schedule runs for the quarterback. They are running quarterback run plays, which we've talked enough ball in here, and our listeners, what I'm going to say about this is defensively, when you've got a purposeful runner, you got to play +1 on defense because your numbers don't add up if you don't play +1. Yeah. And so this is a problem. And the other fact is, he's a fairly big unit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was the thing with Elway was one of those guys that ran. He ran, and they would have some design stuff for him because he was such an athlete, but he was a bigger guy. We dealt with one of those. The Titans dealt with Trevor Lawrence last week. Another guy that's like 6'5", 6'6", that can run the ball, doesn't have the weight behind him. That's the difference is Allen's got weight on top of height.
That's exactly right. And so, anyway, there's a reason that they're playing well because they got a good team.
Yeah,
they're playing well. They're healthy, and they're coached very well. And the game they lost, the game they lost against Pittsburgh. When I went back and dove into that game, and I'm sure you've watched it, Ramon. Yeah. What was happening is that Pittsburgh. Everybody thinks about Roethlisberger with Pittsburgh got a pretty good. Pittsburgh crushed their center guard tackle defensively.
Yeah.
That's what they did early on, and they didn't quite have an answer for it, and all of a sudden they got a little off kilter. But anyway, I digress.
And that's where I kind of wanted to go next, talking about Josh Allen. Like, his ability to run the ball is designed. He's good at it. He's learning the slide to get down. But what you saw in that Pittsburgh game, the game they lost, is they just made him uncomfortable. That's what's got to happen this week. I know the Titans signed Avery Williamson this weekend, and you expect him to have a part in this defense potentially. You also just get another set of eyes on him too, and that's going to be key to stopping them extending drives with the Buffalo Bills offense.
Well, a lot of it, and when you talk structurally about defense, and again, I don't know what they're going to do exactly structurally defensively, but I just, in talking in general, in common, if you have, it's like when you're playing Lamar Jackson and they've got that run, you've got to be able to +1 it and have some ideas as to where you are going to force them to run it. Mm-hmm. That's the one thing.
Yeah. Coach, one part too that plays a huge role in this game is 22, Derrick Henry. I think this may be his third FedEx Ground Player of the Week game that he's having. Just for a guy that's seen a lot of these legendary guys come through, Hall of Famers, he's having a run right now that's blowing everybody out of the water as far as production. What are you seeing as far as history repeating itself with a guy like him?
Well, first of all, history is really small, the list of the guys that are accomplished what he's accomplished. I started my career out with Walter Payton. I was on the team with Walter Payton.
Yeah.
And guess who knew Walter was going to get the ball? Everybody we played. Everybody. They
Just
all
like
knew
the
it.
Lions and Barry. I mean, you knew he was going to get the ball.
They all knew it.
Mm-hmm.
They all knew it. I mean, and you said Barry Sanders. Everybody knew he was going to get it. That was entirely different. That was a run and shoot with Mouse Davis. It was spread out. This is we're watching history.
Yeah.
We really are, and you got to appreciate it. And the other thing is, and I know all the analytics we've got going now, and back before there were all analytics, you could still look and see that they've got 8 people up there at the line of scrimmage. Well, this offense, everybody on this offense is facing that early in games from everybody. Name me a game the Titans have played right now that people have played 7 in the box early in the game. You don't see it. You just don't see it. And so what he's doing, and the other thing about him is, and I know it goes back to this, we're living in a different era now where guys can post their workouts, they can post this, but what he posted, he legitimately doing.
Yeah.
He was legitimately, he's in tremendous condition. Let me go back to Walter one more time. Everybody talks about Walter's Hill and Walter, his conditioning off season was impeccable. So's this guy.
That was the Jerry Rice effect too.
So
Jerry Rice running hills and mountains and all that.
So is
kind
this
of thing.
guy.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't do what he does through the course of 4 quarters, and plus dishing out the punishment and also taking the collisions that he takes and still be that strong in the 4th quarter. Mike Keith, whose calls are always right on point. When he said Yulee bulldozer in that game up there, that's what it was.
I heard he got you on that one too, Coach. I was listening to the replay.
He got us all because I hadn't heard it live. I heard it Monday. Schaefer played it, and I laughed.
So great. And then he's counted down, count on 1, 2, 3. I mean, it's great. When the Titans are winning and he's running and Mike Keith is rolling, I don't want to interrupt it, but I have to laugh because it's funny.
It was good.
Yeah, well, you mentioned that they've backed off a little bit in Buffalo in terms of the play calling. They've simplified it and they've made it a little bit easier for Josh Allen. But at the same time, Josh Allen's one of these newer quarterbacks that's very creative as well when he's out there. It seems like to me, like he is a guy that, look, until the whistle is blown, he's not out of a play. With his strength and everything that goes along with it, he's able to do some things that a lot of other quarterbacks are not.
Well, and here's what he's able to do, and it's a good point that you make. He can launch it from any arm angle and any platform just because of his arm strength. But he's so much more confident now. Used to be he was doing those things out of desperation, right?
Yeah.
Now it's not. Now it's purposeful.
Yeah.
He's doing it with a purpose in it, and so he's developed into a really good player. That's all you can say.
So Sunday they beat the Jaguars. They beat them by 18. I don't think anybody was blown away with the performance. What did they do well? What did they not do well against Jacksonville?
Well, they were able to persevere and stay with it because, again, Mike Keith put it very well. During that game in the 3rd quarter, the Jaguars were nipping at their heels.
No doubt.
They were coming back at him. They were coming back at him because of that quarterback, that we talked about. And so they were able to stave that off and hold that off. And let's just say this. The Titans every week have got to piece things together just because of where we are, where they are injury-wise right now. And so they were able to the important part about that game down there was JMart, and you're right. I mean, they're not completely – I mean, you're not going to get a pure performance ever in the National Football League.
Right.
But there are some performances that you can say we were cleaner than in others. The thing that they had to do in Jacksonville was win the game. Just win the game, get an AFC South win, and then try to reconfigure and regroup. Hopefully, use an extra day to maybe get some other people back. But to me, the biggest thing they did well in that game was persevere to the end. And then when they had a chance to pull away in the 4th, they pulled away and left no doubt.
Yeah, they got a rookie at right tackle. With the Bills right now. And in that first game, Feliciano kind of got ate up a little bit. Their center, I like him, but he's a little undersized. Just how important is it this week for this D-line of the Titans to really just create havoc against a guy that can, like you said, throw at any arm angle. They can move. They got the receivers. I mean, I have to pull back on saying how good they are, but their personnel is pretty good also for the most part at the skill position with the Bills.
Yeah, well, let's go back to what you said earlier when in this conversation when we were talking about Pittsburgh's success. They made him uncomfortable.
Yes.
And that's what they need to do. However you're able to do that, you've got to make him uncomfortable. And then the other thing that you've got to find a way to do is you've got to find a way to string chains together when you're on offense. Because what you don't want to do is give them extra snaps and extra series. And so what you and look, they're the number 1 third down defense. Their defense, I've known Les Frazier since 1986. He was part of the 85 Super Bowl Bears, and then he hurt his knee. He blew his ACL out in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So he never was able to play again because those surgeries just weren't the same. But anyway, Les started coaching. I was going to hire him when I was head coach of the Bears for 6 hours and didn't know him for 3. He was going to be my secondary coach. I mean, he was. I mean, I've known Les for a long time and really respect him. But what Les is doing defensively is you talk about a guy where there's no panic to him.
Yeah.
There was no panic to him as a corner. There's no panic to him now as a defensive coordinator in this league. And he probably plays more zone defense than anybody. And the advantage that he has, or the ability that he has defensively, he's got about 7 or 8 guys with a 4-man front that he just rolls.
I heard,
and you talk about, I'm sorry, but you talk about keeping people fresh. He's been able to do that all season up front.
I heard Blaine talk about him yesterday, too, on Blaine and Mickey, and he was just saying, like, Leslie Frazier's a guy that'll do the unorthodox things on defense, too. Whereas there's not much pressure, but he's found the ability to get guys up front, or they'll run blitzes that you're not supposed to be able to run. Is that his?
Well, it's not so much. And Blaine was with him at Philly. He was with him at Philly. So and a little bit of Philly. He was bringing a little bit more. 5 and 6. I mean, played 87 snaps against Kansas City and brought an extra rusher 0.
Wow.
So one more quick one. As much tape as you've watched, and we've all watched this guy's entire career since he got drafted here. Harold Landry was a guy that. It seemed like the words you would always use to describe him is he flashed. You would see him flash from time to time, but it might be inconsistent. But when he would sprinkle in something, you'd be like, man, he's really, when he leans, he's got this, he's got this. Has he turned a corner this season in terms of consistently becoming one of those kind of dudes?
Well, here's what I think, and you talk about consistency. I think one thing that we can all agree on ever since he's shown up here as a Titan, he's been a consistent effort guy. Consistent effort guy. That's what you always looked at, as a coach. When you look at that, you say it's coming for this guy because he always is consistently effort-wise going there.
Right.
Technique-wise, developmental-wise, we talk about soaking. You've got to soak in this league. I mean, and what I mean by that is there's nuances to playing every position, even though you have the physical ability, but his effort has always been absolutely fabulous.
Yeah.
And so what we are seeing now, we are seeing execution behind the effort. And so, yes, I mean, I've always liked the player. I liked the player when they took him because here's what he was. He was a guy, even when he was coming out, that when you put the tape on, he may not have had all the sacks at the end of the game, but he was influencing what was happening in the pocket when he had a chance. And the other thing is he plays the run well.
Yeah.
And he plays the run on his side, and he plays the run away from him too, because he's a high effort player. And those guys are usually rewarded sooner or later in their career.
Which is why I really want to see a healthy Bud Dupree with him because they're both so good against the run.
Well, that would help. You're right, JMart.
It would be a helpful thing.
I agree. That would be a plus.
Always good to have your best players on the field, Coach. That's a piece of analysis that if you ought to talk about that with your friends PFF.
You know what?
Because here's the deal: the best coach I've ever been in my career, and I've coached a lot of years, is when I had the best players. Believe that.
This is incredible analysis.
Deep stuff here, Coach. We appreciate you, man.
Guys, thank you so much.
Love
thank
it,
you.
man.
That's it. Let the experts at Farm Bureau Health Plans coach you through it when you need great health coverage at a price you can afford. They've been protecting Tennesseans since 1947. Some of your best comments, more of your surrogate team thoughts when we come back. Plus, we got a loaded Friday show. We'll tell you all about it next. JMart and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone.
Don't even think about telling Buck Rising about trap games. Man, in what world? If you're somebody who legitimately believes in the idea of a trap game after years and years of watching NFL football, frankly, I question your judgment as a sports fan. Teams lose to teams that are better than them because trap games don't exist. The Buck Rising Show, today from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on 104.5 The Zone.
Hey, Brent Doherty here. I'd like to tell you about a new brake repair service I'm really excited about. They're called New Brakes. New Brakes is a mobile brake repair service where they come to you to fix your brakes. We all have things to do and sports to watch, right? So let New Brakes send a certified brake tech wherever you are to fix your brakes. And that's not all. New Brakes is more affordable than getting your brakes fixed at a dealership or repair shop. They use premium brake parts, and they warranty all of their work so you know it's always done right. And they're backed by thousands of 5-star reviews. Why would you ever wait at a dealership or repair shop to get your brake fixed again? Go to their website. This is really an incredible service that they provide. Newbrakes.com. That's nubrakes.com. Get an instant online quote, choose your repair date, then they come to you to fix your brakes. Convenience at its finest, and they're backed by thousands of 5-star reviews. Tell them you're a Zone listener, and you will get a 10% discount. It's newbrakes.com. That's nubrakes.com.
With Fundbox, you can stop waiting and start doing. If your small business needs funds to grow, the time is now. Fundbox offers fast, easy access to small business funding up to $150,000. So hire that new employee, launch that campaign, buy that piece of equipment. Apply in minutes at fundbox.com, and you could get funding as soon as the next business day. Fundbox. Ready, set, grow. Credit line amounts, rates, and terms are based on creditworthiness and subject to change. Additional documentation may be required.
What tools are building the Nashville skyline and are chosen by pros everywhere? What tools have a home right here in Jackson, Tennessee, and on the toughest job sites all around the world? DeWalt. We build the tools that are building Tennessee and the world, because DeWalt tools are guaranteed tough. Tennessee tough. If they don't measure
We're just going to do this for 5 minutes.
Okay. There ain't wrong Coach Mack just left.
Tomorrow's going to be a fun show. Andy Staples of The Athletic. Bob Kessling of the Vol Network. Danny White, Athletics Director, University of Tennessee.
Danny's good, man.
Yeah, I look forward to that conversation. I haven't chatted with him since he got the job. Josh Heupel will be on 3HL this afternoon, so you want to check that out as well. And then we're headed to Knoxville. We'll be at Calhoun's on Saturday. Expanded edition of the Tennessee Tailgate Show. Will Bowl and Ron Slay have taken the reins from Joey and I. But you and me and maybe even Shafe will pop on a microphone.
Hey, now.
We'll be hanging out between eating. How many appetizers is Ron going to have on the table at Calhoun's while trying to do a broadcast?
Man, if they're free, all of them.
When they weren't free, it was like 2 tables worth.
If they're free, all of them.
You heard of Jesus Shuttlesworth?
Yeah.
How about Ron 2 tables worth?
Ron 2 tables worth. It's going to be a good time, man. If for anything, I saw a guy I play with, Chris Walker, tweeting about this last weekend before that game. The UT South Carolina game. It's just like, man, there's a feeling around here that hasn't been in Knoxville on campus for a while. And I just think that's kind of unique considering Chris has been there, man. He played for Lane, saw the other coaching changes, and now he's working as the team chaplain on the football side of it and on the basketball side. He's with the basketball teams also. And to have him who's seen the different regimes come through, say some stuff like that, it's going to be cool. So I say it'll be a good environment in Knoxville because a little bit of a match is struck. That's all,
Our journey to Knoxville, sponsored by Brentwood Hearing Center. Thanks to them for making it possible for us to do this. We wanted to do this.
What's so funny?
It was Ron.
Yeah, he said, I'll be fried. How many appetizers, Ron?
And flour?
No, it's like,
what?
Which meats are going to be fried? Is it be fried Twinkie here? Are we at the Texas State Fair?
He's wrong for that. But Brentwood here, man,
Yeah,
is
appreciate them
making that happen for us. And I'm excited about that, too,
But come hang with us. We're going to be there 4 to 6 local time. It'll be 3 to 5 here if you're listening to the Tailgate Show. We'll be at Calhoun's 4 to 6, maybe longer than that. But we're going to be out and about. So come find us, say hello. Our show, you get to go to B-Dubs and see the guys on Tuesdays for 3HL. You'll get to see Blaine and Mickey out at Nissan next week and 3HL out there. We're so early, we don't get to go very many places. Yeah. So we're trying to make it possible to come find us. Tots and pears.
Tots and pears, baby.
The backup question today, and a lot of response to this, is your surrogate team. Like maybe you're a Titans fan, but you also don't mind if Dallas does well. You don't mind if the Rams do well. And who knows what your rooting interest is. And it can be any sport. It doesn't have to just be football. Daniel Nick says, it was the Lions, now it's the Rams. I'm just a big Matt Stafford fan.
Yeah.
No reason other than the respect for the man and the player. Famous clip when he goes back in after the time with a dislocated shoulder.
Oof.
Great dude, great player. Hope Super Bowl was Tennessee versus L.A. Hey, that's what I picked.
Yeah.
Blake Richmond, I was a Cowboys fan before the Oilers came to town, so I like seeing them win. That's the perfect example. Laura Knight says, the first two that come to mind, I'm a diehard Braves fan, but Yankees because I just love New York. And I'm a lifelong Alabama football fan, but I like Clemson because of Dabo Swinney. I know a lot of Alabama fans that quietly like to see Clemson do well because of Dabo.
Hold up. No. Absolutely not. You can't pick 2 good teams. No.
No, but there's a tie there, Moan.
No.
Dabo and his tie to Alabama is why.
That right there I'm not okay with.
Well, when he first, I think it probably happened because you wanted to see him do well when he first got there when Clemson wasn't all that. And then now you don't just pull back on him because of the Dabo thing.
Trust me, I get it. But no.
I get what you're saying too. Fizzbot says the Arizona Cardinals. My mother-in-law is friends with Mike Bidwell. He has invited us to games in the owner's suite on multiple occasions, was a very gracious host, to which Schaefer responded from our Twitter account, flex.
That's a slight one right there.
Cousin Caden, for some reason, I just like the Chargers. Fair? I know you're a Titans guy.
I think those powder blue Chargers uniforms have helped them a lot.
I don't disagree. Shelly says, in college football, I like seeing anybody beat Florida, Georgia, and LSU. So it's not really surrogate team. It's I hate this team so much it doesn't matter who's playing them. I want to see them lose. That's a little bit of a different take, but that's fine. My backup would be Notre Dame. In pro, I like seeing anybody beat the Ravens, Colts, Jags, Raiders, Steelers, Green Bay. So basically anybody in the league.
I like this approach.
Lord Jesse Hall says the Vikings, I feel bad for them. And then you just responded with a bunch of laughing emojis.
How you feel bad for a team? You know? That was
I
weird.
feel sorry for them. That's like the Cubs.
Bless their heart.
Yeah, that's literally what it is, man. Joe says, I hope well for the Browns because they're my wife's team.
Ugh.
I cheer for Cincinnati football because I admire Luke Fickell and his growth during and after what happened at Ohio State.
That's fair.
I agree with that. I mean, I understand that. Joe then says, historically, I cheer for hockey Canada and soccer England as long as they're not playing America.
And that's exactly how they wrote it.
That's exactly how he wrote it.
Our guy Q sent the text that said, most people love Jerry the King Lawler, but I was a fan of the superstar Bill Dundee.
There you go.
Hey.
He was the heel. At times he was the heel. Sometimes he was the opposite.
We're going Memphis wrestling.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Drew Parsons says teams that my family are fans of. I think there's a lot of people that could relate to this too. BYU, Miami, Texas Tech, he mentions. Joe, I cheered hard for WCW over the Fed, even though I was team extreme. Now I'm all elite. So am I.
Did most people choose NWO at that time too?
I mean, yeah, because it was 96 and Austin didn't really hit until like mid 97, and then 98's when he was just on fire. Yeah. Mike, this one's interesting. Mike says all Vols, but became mesmerized by June Jones at Hawaii with the run and shoot offense when they were putting up like 80 points a game with like Timmy Chang and late Colt Brennan, unfortunately. He says they've fallen way down since there when Jones went to SMU when he was fired and all that, but he still cheers for Hawaii. Cool. Interesting.
That's a stretch. I only know one player that played for Hawaii.
And then this one, I got to read this on the way out because it's just so many teams. Michigan, LSU, Arkansas, Washington football team, the Broncos, Virginia Tech, Green Bay, maybe Oregon are a few on my pseudo fan list.
A few.
So Drake has chimed in this morning. Good stuff. You want to come on the show, Aubrey? Hit us up. Buck Rising coming up next. Then Blaine and Mickey in 3HL. Big show tomorrow with Andy Staples, Bob Kessling, and Danny White. You won't want to miss that. Hypels with 3HL this afternoon. You won't want to miss that. We'll do it again tomorrow. Ramon Foster, Jonathan Schaefer, Jason Martin. Those are our names. At JMart and Ramon. That's where we are on Twitter. We'll see you tomorrow.
And remember, your Twitter fingers and your mic. Always hot, baby.
I can feel it all the way down in my plums.
Live interaction with other listeners while watching your favorite Zone shows. It's 104.5